Welcome to the next dimension in entertainment. Coming to you live from the offices of Chapter One Films in Charlotte, North Carolina, this is the 4D Podcast with your hosts, Greg Prins, Nathaniel Levinson, and Marco Brutus. Sit back and enjoy a deep dive into film. This is the 4D Podcast.
You, Jakob.
We are so back. We've never been more back.
It's about as back as we've ever been.
So unfortunately, it's a double. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing for us.
Is it just bad because of Jakob?
It's a bad thing for the tax code. I don't know. So what it was basically like, how Zaslav went into Warner Brothers and was like slashing things for tax breaks. So it turns out Jakob figured out that if he expanded our studio and spent like a bunch of money upgrading our studio, he could write it off as a tax break.
So this is Jakob exploiting the taxpayers of
100%
of North
allegedly.
Carolina.
Legally, I have to say allegedly exploiting the taxpayers of the federal government of the United States.
Jakob did give us something to read about, but I'm not going to read it just because. He also said he specifically wasn't going to watch this show. Specifically, he's like,
first one, yeah.
I was like,
I think
we can.
The thing is, I think legally, if he watches the show, then he has to pay the taxes. So I think he can't watch this show specifically. I don't know. It's weird. That's what his lawyer said.
Wow. Well, I mean, he runs
and I was
the
like,
show.
"Are you
He-
not in
he
international
pays the
waters?"
bills.
And he's like, "Well, I don't know. It gets complicated."
It is June 29th, episode 61 of the 4D podcast. And as you might have noticed, we're in a new studio, baby.
I hadn't noticed.
We are. If the whole studio, if the whole studio,
nudio.
Dude, the nudio.
new, then that explains this studio. We are in a new studio. Big upgrades.
Dope as hell.
Let's go.
We're excited. We're excited to
This
be
is
here
not
with you guys.
This is not in post. This is actually there.
That's who knows if it's actually there. Could be a green screen.
Oh.
I just said it wasn't.
We're excited to have you guys back. It has been a little while.
It has been many
And if
moons.
you're wondering
It's
why,
been- yeah.
it's because we've been building this, and it's
Yeah.
taken us a while. Jakob,
And-
although funding did not lift a finger.
Yeah.
Didn't lift a
Check.
finger.
Well, again, I think
Honestly,
he would have to
checks out.
step onto. It's kind of like the Davy Jones thing. He would have to step onto land, and I don't think he can do that this year.
He's got these little gangly fingers too. He can.
Yeah, he's not really. He's not really the lifting kind of guy. Also, can you turn my headphones up like this?
Yeah, I got you.
You can turn mine down a little bit. We're still. We're still.
Greg
we're
says,
still
"Oh, I
touching
like
them.
it loud."
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't. Well,
That's perfect. Thank
Is that
you.
better? Is that better?
Mine's good too.
Mine's
All right,
perfect.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, I picture when I think of Jakob. I think of like who's the guy with the Simpsons, like the
Mr.
old-
Burns?
Mr. Burns. I just remember the episode where he goes to an ATM for the first time, like to get his own money, and he like types in the number and it shoots $100 bill out, and like the bill knocks him down.
And that's a pretty accurate. I think Mr. Burns was actually modeled off of Jakob.
He's just
Oh.
like, if he were to have touched things, his hands, he'd be like he couldn't do it. So all he did was like this, and I was like, dude, don't even.
You have
don't
all the
have to.
diseases, every disease.
Well, we're thankful either way, and we're thankful for you guys that
Yes.
you're back. If you're watching and you're wondering why you can't comment and tell us how bad we look and how horrible our takes are, it's because you haven't liked or subscribed. So go ahead and do that. You can join in. We love to hear from you guys.
And I'm stealing this from a different YouTuber, but if you don't like it, hit the dislike button twice.
I like that. I
I cannot take credit for that. I absolutely stole that.
But we're excited. We have a great show.
Is there even a
There is a thumbs down. Yes.
thumbs down button
It doesn't
anymore?
show you the counts anymore. You
Yeah,
have
it
to
doesn't
like
show the-
okay.
put a
Well,
plug-in or something. I don't know. YouTube,
Too many
YouTube's
just
weird, man.
bad.
YouTube's weird and archaic and honestly probably in violation of copyright law in the sense that
They
it's
can just
striking
strike
down. They can
everything
strike down
that has music in it
anything
that's not-
and be like, "Oh, it was copyright." But the reality is, I mean, so as far as I understand it, it's like YouTube is a private company.
Yep,
Legally, they can say we don't
can-
like
yeah.
your thing and you have to take it down.
it's fair. Yeah.
And the reason they would do that if someone claimed copyright is because they don't want to get sued for copyright infringement.
Right.
However, I think 90% of what gets stricken down for copyright would hold up in a court of law, but YouTube just doesn't want
They
to
just
spend the
don't
money
wanna
to
go
do it.
through
And it's,
all the tape.
but really what needs to happen is the fraudulent copyright claims need to be punishable.
Well, we can get into all that, but first, let's get to the news. We've got a lot to catch you up on. It's been a minute.
many moons.
We've got several movies out in theaters right now. We've got Disclosure Day, and if you have seen that, I hear that there wasn't a whole lot disclosed
Yeah. So see,
It's true.
no.
It's true, though.
What
Like,
I heard
that's, like,
was
the
what
main
I heard
thing I
was
heard.
what I heard that was is that my Christian faith has been completely upended by the existence of aliens.
Yeah, that was the main thing. They're like, aliens exist. Like, nobody's gonna believe in God anymore. I was like, oh my gosh, have we done this before? I was like, is this
Just many times.
where has Steven Spielberg been? Did he just like pop up out of a chair and he's like, I've got an idea? And you're like, dude,
Go back. to
12
sleep,
other
old
people
man.
had that ideas and made movies. Like, it's been a long time since
And-
like the
and that-
formulation of
and-
the idea and like.
Yeah, and that idea has never ever been true in the 2,000-year history of Christianity.
It's really disappointing.
It's never been true.
Because I think the trailer built some intrigue, and I was a little bit excited. I might get around to watching it.
I'm
from
gonna be
everything
honest.
I've read, it just from all the trusted people that I've listened to that watched
The
that.
name of the film was so bland that I was like, you can't have a
Disclosure.
good movie named Disclosure Day. We are disclosing.
The Furious. On the contrary,
Heard it's
I
good.
really want to see this movie. So this is kind of like the John Wick style.
I think it's more like a Taken style.
Oh, fair. Okay, so rather than the dog dying, I think a daughter is killed or
his daughter's
taken?
kidnapped.
Okay, kidnapped.
So it's
okay.
very much like Taken, but I think it's Korean
Yeah.
or Chinese. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe Chinese.
The action is incredible.
Well, it's
You,
I
he's
don't
just
remember which.
stating what
I
it-
don't
what it
remember
is.
which Southeastern Asian country produced the movie.
Yes, but
I know
last
it was,
time-
I know
last
it was
time-
either China or Korea, but I don't remember which one
Yes,
it
I
was.
feel like if you just
But
say
last
Asian, it covers
time-
your bases.
Last time, Greg said something like that. He thought it was Korean, and then he corrected himself by saying Asian, and then you got all over his.
Yeah,
his-
I got
all
on him
over
for
his
saying
dick.
Asian rather than being specific.
But he corrected.
I'm gonna always just say Asian because I'm never confident. You guys can all take that.
And we're canceled again.
And by you all, I just mean everybody, not.
It took
not
a whole 5 minutes.
back rooms. Really want
We
to
started watching
We started
it,
watching this
and,
on the high seas, and then
it was,
and then we
it
realized.
was
Then somebody
not.
stood up and walked past, and
We
I
were
was
like,
like,
oh, maybe not.
we're not gonna watch this.
Saying it.
So I will definitely get around to watching that, though. I really like it. I like the whole backstory, the lore to it. We talked about this a lot on our previous show, but really excited to see that one. Obsession, kind of hand
Also
in
doing
hand.
Gangbusters.
Yep, all hand in hand with Backrooms. They're both
And
very low
it's funny
budget,
they
and
were
both kind of killed
low
it.
budget indie films done by YouTubers.
Yeah.
And someone has made a comment, and I agree with it, that because people are saying like, "Oh, it's an indie revolution," and I agree with the assessment that can't really call it an indie revolution until it breaks outside of the horror genre. Because really, there have been a lot of successful indie horror movies.
That is
And until
the
it
genre to
until
do.
it transcends that genre, I think you can't call it a true indie revolution.
Yeah, you had all like the Paranormal Activities. Remember that was like the craze. It was all found
I mean,
footage
and
type
Markiplier's
stuff.
Iron Lung
Yeah.
did really well as
Yeah.
well. So
I do think that like that's where most people make their starts anyways. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
typically starts in horror and then it bleeds out. So it's kind of par for course so far. So I agree with you in there that it needs to kind of exist outside the horror genre. Toy Story 5. Ugh,
yawn.
woof.
Not interested.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 didn't need to exist either.
One of my segments is about sequels, and we'll kind of dig into that a little bit. We'll talk about that a little bit more.
I
But
mean, what do you want us to say? It's another Toy Story movie.
yeah, it's that should have died. It honestly should have died after 2. 3 was a fine because the ending was okay.
Yeah,
but
I
the
thought-
rest of the movie,
I thought 3 was. I mean, I don't think it was rose to the heights of 1 and 2.
no. But the
I
ending
think it was a
great.
perfectly acceptable movie because it did kind of put a bow on the whole toy. And I think he could have ended it too.
Yeah,
But I think I still find 3 to be acceptable.
yeah, that's fair. Supergirl came out a couple days,
Is exploding?
few days ago.
Woof.
I don't know. It's DC universe. It's just your typical.
I have no interest. I didn't have any interest in it before I saw the trailers. I have no interest after
Well,
the trailers. I have no
here's-
interest after hearing the
when
reviews.
it's like punk girl too cool for school, like I don't care about anything, and I'm like, dog, I've seen.
Yeah, it's
just
nothing you
exhausting.
haven't seen before. There's nothing
so
fresh. It's not a
exhausting.
fresh take. It's not an interesting take. It's just
It's James
boring.
Gunn being James Gunn.
yeah, it's just boring.
Just directing all
at
the
this point.
all the DCU. Jackass, best and last. My goodness, I didn't even know this came out, and I saw it.
I can't believe Johnny Knoxville's still alive.
All of it, it's gotten so gross. It's funny because the early Jackass stuff,
So
I
good.
thought it was so funny. I really did. As a kid, I was like,
it was never my
I just
thing.
thought that people like it was mainly about having the funds to create something that was just so wild, like going down a water slide at a water slide park, but it was empty, and they were going down on a skateboard, and then they just had like piles of bowling balls following them behind them. Like that's like a funny thing to see.
Yeah,
like
so
that's like
I never minded the them doing stupid stunts. Although I was like, why?
The ones that are just painful are interesting.
I've never liked pranks because they're always just mean spirited. It's always you get the laugh at the expense of someone else.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
Whereas it's like if with the dangerous stunts thing, it's like the expense is your own well being, and I can appreciate like you have volunteered, you
have
put
done
yourself
that
in this
yourself.
situation.
To be
so
fair,
I can be fine with that. But most pranks, I wouldn't say universally pranks, but
To
I'd
be
say
fair-
most of the time pranks are so mean spirited that I just hate them.
I don't know. For me, it's like if you're a part of that group, if you're part of
Them
the Jackass
pranking
group,
each
they
other,
they
know
all know it.
signing
Yeah,
up. They're like,
that's-
that checks out.
Them like doing the
Yeah.
big hand thing and smacking
That's
each other.
so
That
funny.
one I'm
It is so funny.
Them being like, we all agree we're going to try to prank each other.
Sure.
It definitely makes it less bad for me.
I
but
would agree
still-
though
I
that the
still
nature of
don't
pranks
like
in themselves
pranks.
are to me aren't all that humorous. But I would say like it was more so the can you imagine if we could have done that? Like it's
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
like those ones were always so funny. Like we got like this semi truck and cleared out the whole back of it, and we were all just like in rollerblades in the back, and he's just doing donuts in a parking lot, and there's cameras inside the semi, and he's just watching them smash against all the walls. And like you see, that's funny. Like I could watch stuff like that all day, but it got so gross to where like all the newer stuff now that they're old and they can't do anything is all just like poop and like naked dudes, and I'm like, this is just it's just unwatchable.
Yeah.
So I've not cared about Jackass for a while.
I kind of stopped watching when they flipped the guy in the porta potty.
Yeah.
That's about when I stopped because he came out just throwing up and stuff, and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Scary Movie. I have not heard anything. It's got like a 5.0. So I'm like, it is.
Yeah,
it
all
is
I've heard
a
is
It is
Disney movie.
exactly
all I've heard
par.
is it's exactly what a scary movie is expected to be. Like from what I've heard, because the trailer kind of made it seem like it was going to be sort of against the grain, a current Hollywood grain.
Yeah.
And apparently it like sets up a bunch of jokes, but it doesn't actually pay them off, which is what Scary Movie's always done. So.
Spider-Man Noir.
Oh no, sorry. No, Scary Movie, not Scream.
Yeah.
Scream 7 was also apparently really bad.
Spider-Man Noir.
Was awesome. Not a
Awesome.
movie, but it was awesome.
It's a TV show. Came out on
Limited
Amazon
series.
Prime,
Yeah.
which is funny because I would assumed it would be Disney
well,
Plus.
because it's Sony.
okay,
so that's
fair.
why.
Spider-Man still has all the weird
Yeah.
Spider-Man things.
Yep,
where
Sony
they're
has still
like,
Sony still technically has the rights to Spider-Man.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's great. So this is Nicolas Cage, live action Nicolas Cage as
And you can watch it in black and white.
the
It's
Spider.
Great.
In when is it supposed to be?
It's like they never pinned down the year. But
It's right after-
It's at least 5 years post World War II.
Yeah.
So it's like the early 50s probably.
And it's just so great. Nick Cage is perfect in there. When I saw it, I'm like, dude, he just should have lived in that time and been normal because now he's weird.
There was a lot of stuff where we were just like, yeah, that's just Nicolas Cage. Being, like they didn't give him a script. They were just like, hey Nick, just we just need you on set.
he was just hey, see,
There's
The whole
one
time.
part where he's watching a movie and he's like acting out the scene in the movie with a hot dog, and I'm like, no, that was literally just Nicolas Cage. And he's like, there's one point where he starts twitching out and like his limbs are flying everywhere, and it was so good.
just Nick Cage,
Just Nick
freaking out.
Cage.
All right,
it was great.
New trailers, movies coming out soon. Angry Birds movie.
Yawn. Move on.
I don't.
Yeah,
That was an app. I kept thinking it was a screensaver.
No,
I'm
it
like,
was
when a
an app.
screensaver.
It was
One of
it
the
was an
original
app.
iPhone apps that got really big.
here's the
Well.
thing with those types of movies. They are specifically designed to make money. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's not. There's no entertainment value whatsoever
an argument
intended
can be
on it.
made that most
But
movies
it's
nowadays
but no,
are
well,
in that
yeah,
camp.
nowadays, yeah. But like,
Yeah.
there's no art in it, really, in
No.
my opinion.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
literally made because it was a very good generating money app.
It has an
that was it.
It has.
I mean,
it has
same
name
reason
value.
they had the Minecraft movie and the Emoji movie.
Yep.
Like, there's no
100%.
artistic intent behind it. They're just like, hey, this is popular with kids. They'll pay to see it because parents don't let their kids have taste. If it was me, I'd be
bad.
like, no, we're gonna go see good. Well, we're not. There's nothing for us to go see. Take my kids to. So we're just gonna stay home and
Me
watch
and my
Golden
3
Age Disney
children.
movies. My 10 daughters and my 4 sons.
Speaking of children's movies, Charlie Harper. This is a movie about
I've
an
never heard of
animated
it.
dog. I had never heard of it either. It apparently is getting a little bit of hype from children.
Great. Moving
Great for
on.
them. Digger. This is it's called Digger.
It's about Dig Dug.
It's literally
About a mole
Tom
person?
Cruise, and he's dancing to a Gorillaz song with a shovel, and that's the whole
So
trailer.
it's about him digging.
It's like 40 seconds. of him
Supposedly, it's a comedy.
just-
Tom Cruise do-
I honestly,
I was
the
gonna say, does
trailer
Tom Cruise
and
do comedy?
everybody's
But he
like
is in
losing
John
their
Thunder.
mind over it, which honestly goes back to our whole point on trailers that we did, which is like, hey, the least the less you say, the more interested it becomes. Because
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
sitting there, I'm like, huh, I'm genuinely interested to see what in the hell's going on here.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure once the trailer gets longer and it's like 4 minutes, I'm gonna be like, I have no interest. But
Yeah.
but it's Tom Cruise making his whatever way back into comedy. Werewolf. This movie looks like
Isn't that spelled weird?
yes,
Yes.
It's well,
It's
to
spelled the
me,
way that Greg would spell.
Thank you.
Got it. They say no more.
Yes, it is spelled correctly. How do you spell that?
Correctly.
Correctly. Yeah, okay. So this is it looks very much like Lighthouse. It's black and white. It's a old kind of
So it's
old
a pretentious
gothic
artsy
horror.
film.
It's got that gothic horror vibe.
It's not even black and white though. It's like a.
It is black and
like
white.
It's
sepia?
almost. It's duotone for sure. It's definitely duotone, but it's
More
not.
sepia.
It's also like
like
your
bluish.
square frame. It's like
Yeah.
meant to be like
So it's
super,
pretentious.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yes, it's likely going to be pretentious, but it's also Willem Dafoe.
It's Willem Dafoe. It's Buddy from I don't know what he's from. I don't know his name.
That's really helpful.
Hey, that guy. Yeah. It has some interest there.
But it's an artsy-fartsy film.
Then there's The Dink, which you guessed it. It's about pickleball.
Oh, God.
It's about a
No,
tennis
thanks.
player
It's-
who's like pegging a bunch of
Here's-
pickleball players with
here's
tennis
the
balls.
thing.
Sorry,
and
he's
some-
pegging a bunch of pickleball players?
He's with
He-
ball.
Yeah, well, just go ahead and
That was a sentence that you said.
dig your way out of
Digger.
that one.
He's diggering himself.
So here's
Cruise, what are you doing?
Here's my initial thought on The Dink. It is going to be a play on what everybody thinks about pickleball, which is it is a joke of a sport
For old people.
until you play it, and then
you
it's
get
really fun.
I'm
That's
sure it's
ultimately
fun.
what it is. It is a joke of a sport that everybody turns around and says, "Yes, isn't that bad?"
We need
really not that
We
bad.
need the soundbite from Spider-Man 1 where he's like, he stinks and I don't like him. He's like, that's what I think about pickleball. It stinks. I don't hate it, but I play other sports, and so I'm like not ready to hang it up and just be there. And like all my friends that don't play sports are like, play pickleball. And I'm like, oh my gosh, never.
Yeah, I'm like,
Not
if I
even a
wanted to
little
pick
bit.
up a racket, I'd play racquetball or I'd play tennis. Like I already play 2 racket sports. There's no reason for me to pick
If
up
I
a
wanted-
third weird one.
I was going to say something really bad. Wanted to pick up a racket. Okay, so yeah, that's it for movie trailers. Random news: Mel Brooks is 100.
Yes.
Happy birthday,
Yes.
Mel Brooks.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday!
there you go.
It's not technically it's not his birthday. That's not the birthday segment. That's the random news segment. He just happens to be 100. I don't know when he turned 100.
I think it was
Just-
like
it
earlier
was-
this week.
yeah, he
I think
just turned 100.
it was just this week or
He just
something,
turned
like
100.
Tuesday or
Well,
and Spaceballs 2, which is probably not going to be
There
good.
was somebody who did turn not 100, but turned an age today. Gary Busey.
Oh, there he
Does
is.
anyone know what the age is?
He turned
Unclear.
an undisclosed
He turned-
number.
Redacted.
I also don't even know who Gary Busey is.
Yeah, you recognize him if you
I
saw
probably
him.
recognize him, but I just
He's got the wild hair. He's like,
I just hear
he
the
looks
name.
crazy. Think like Steve Buscemi, but even crazier.
There's that one YouTube video where the guy renames Pokemon and then he gets the Gyarados and he goes Gary Busey.
Yeah.
Like that's
So, sorry to go back. I just got a comment saying that, which is accurate. I forgot about this. Tom Cruise was in Austin Powers
And Tropic
for a
Thunder.
cameo.
wow.
He was in a very small bit for.
He's been in comedies.
He
you
has
know?
been.
He
It's
was in
just
Tropic
smaller
Thunder. I
roles.
think he was in. Was he in? Am I misremembering this? Was he in 21 Jump Street as well? And gets his dick shot off.
No, that was not him. That was no. The guy who gets his dick shot
that
off.
Tom Cruise?
No, it's one of the brothers, like the brothers that like one of them shot somebody in real life. Accidentally.
Baldwin?
It's one of the Baldwin brothers gets his dick shot off.
Really? I
But
swear
there's
it was Tom
also
Cruise.
like
But
Johnny
he's in
Depp
Tropic, he's in
randomly
Tropic Thunder.
is like one of the people at the end of 21 Jump Street as well.
I really enjoyed 21 Jump Street. I'm not a huge fan of R-rated comedies, and 21 and 22 Jump Street, I enjoyed both of them. They were really funny.
Cynthia, Jesus died for our Cynthias. And that scene is Rob hurts. Other movie birthdays, we have Wanted, came out on this day.
like
right.
the Curve the Bullet one.
Yeah, the Curve the Bullet one.
Did you guys watch that one?
And
When it
speaks-
came out 9 bajillion years ago.
I thought the trailers looked like so bad.
It's
I
actually
had no
not a
interest
bad
in it.
movie.
Wanted?
I like that movie.
I feel like,
I have
isn't
a
like the final
feeling-
thing he like shoots it like all the way around.
Well, yeah, well, it's
Yeah.
it's.
I have a feeling
whatever.
that if we were to go back and watch that again now, we would laugh.
Probably.
No,
That's
it's
probably what would happen.
It's better than you think. Honestly, it still holds up because there are so many scenes that are just like so. Like there's the scene where his like best friend's cheating on like his girlfriend's cheating on him with his best friend, but his girlfriend's still like bitching at him and stuff, and so he comes home and she's still sitting there like, oh my gosh, and then who's the hot Angelina Jolie is just like walking around with this dude, and she sees it and she just grabs him and like makes out with him, and she's like, what? And like I always thought that was the coolest scene because he's like such a dork, and she, like the girlfriend is just like this like absolute stud of a girl, and then he just like punches his best friend, and his best friend's sitting on the floor, and he's like, he's so cool. and it's Chris Pratt is the best friend, and he's like, God, that guy's awesome. There's a lot of charm in that movie.
I'd have to go back and watch it again.
It's a little corny.
I've never watched it.
But speaking of curves, Magic Mike was also on this day.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Fair. That is good. I deserve that one. Ted came out this day. Ted, funny movie.
I mean, thing is, it's just live action Family Guy. Which, if you like Family Guy, I think you like this one. I thought there were funny bits. I thought it was fine.
Yeah. The Heat, the last thing that came out on this day,
like the basketball team.
The basketball team. We did just get Giannis Antetokounmpo, so that is big news. No, The Heat was a movie. It's kind of like I watched it with Liam one time.
Was it one of the old ones? Like the old? No, I'm thinking about The Sting.
It's an older. Who's the guy? Who's like?
You keep saying that. I have no idea, Greg.
I'm about to describe
characteristics.
him.
No,
I'm about to describe him.
All you said was Buddy with the, and then you lost.
He talks like this, and he's in all the Bob movies, and he's always crazy.
Oh, Michael Rappaport.
No.
Who?
The Heat, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the main actor, dude. Okay, I'm looking it up.
Bill Burr?
We're professionals.
No, okay, sorry. Oh, is it The Heat?
My God, dude. My God.
All right, so I apologize. There is a movie called Heat.
And The Heat.
And that one has Al Pacino was the name I was trying to think of.
All
Al
right.
Pacino.
So I'm not completely crazy.
Nope, sorry. And I think you might actually be right. I think The Heat was the one that came out today, not Heat.
Oh,
So
idiot.
way worse of a
Which
movie.
one have you seen though?
I've seen Heat with Al
Not
Pacino.
The Heat.
Not The
with
Heat.
Michael Rappaport.
With Michael Rappaport, who does not sound like this. He talks like... Anyways.
I mean, he kind
It's
of
not very specific.
Maybe
he kind of does, and he has that New York
Christopher
accent a lot
Walken.
when he plays
Talks
movies and stuff.
like this.
Like, wow.
So I'll just do terrible Christopher Walken impersonations. All right.
Or really good Christopher Walken impressions.
So we've got segments for you guys. I've got a couple today. Nathaniel, you have one or two.
Why don't I start us off? I want to christen this new studio.
Yes.
Oh.
I want to play a game.
Oh.
I'd
So,
like to play a game.
If you'll give me 2 seconds while I...
Now, Marco, you can show. Can you show? No, you can't.
I can see
You can see it from wide angle.
from the wide. I can check it out. Let's see if it actually pops up. Let me see if
we did test this beforehand.
maybe chat will be able to tell me if it works. He's still playing with it. He's still playing with it. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
So,
What are we talking about?
so.
I'd like to request that chat send me yay or nay on whether or not they can see the screen and what the the
It's okay. I'm going to
the
read it.
font
I'm going
is
to
like
read it anyways.
2.
Don't worry. It's going to be...
Brother.
I will
Don't worry, it gets
put this
better.
as a disclaimer. This is our first show. We had an HDMI cable problem in the sense that it was like 2 inches
This
too
is
short.
not my fault.
So we will
not my
have
fault.
a long enough cord to the point where the audience
Don't worry.
will be able to switch to that screen.
Yeah.
We can't
These
do it
are
yet.
movie quotes.
we
I'm
have
going to- I'm-
confirmation that it is really small, but they can see it.
Okay, good.
Which is exactly
and
what
if,
she said.
If you pinch your screen, you can actually zoom in. You can zoom in on your screen. All right. But don't worry. If you can't read the script, I am going to read all of these quotes. So don't worry about that.
All right, cool.
I was hoping that.
Hit us, Nathaniel.
All right. So just wait a minute.
Oh,
Is that Bully McGuire? What's he doing
okay.
here?
We need some music so badly.
All right, so I guess it's name that movie famous quotes Shakespeare edition.
Okay.
Oh,
So
boy.
Bully McGuire came in and changed all my movie quotes
so
into
classic of
Shakespeare
Bully
language. So I'm
McGuire.
going to read them, and then you're going to tell me what movie it's from, and bonus points if you know the character, which you should. All right. And again, these are pretty famous movies. All of these are really famous movies. And the quotes, I picked longer quotes, and
I'd love for chat to play along.
yeah, please play along. And so we'll
would be
give people
wonderful.
an answer. So here's the first one. Welcome, compatriots, to our League of Battle. Our first imposition. Thou must not speak of the League of Battle.
Fight Club.
Fight Club. It's got to be.
are second in position. Thou dost not speak of the league of battle.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
I ken what thou art pondering. Didst I in mine volley launch 5 projectiles or 6? Struth, in the melee I hast forgotten myself. Thou must ponder singularly. Dost thou perceive thyself to be fortunate? Dost thou knave?
Dirty Harry.
I've never seen it.
But you're probably familiar with this quote.
Punk, do ya?
I feel lucky. Do ya, punk? And I did,
yeah,
I did take out a small bit. This doth be the British longbow, the most potent weapon in all England. 'Twould sever thine head from thy neck in a clean nick. So I changed
also
it to
true, yeah.
Raptor Magnum. Yeah, so all of these have a little bonus
Love that.
quote.
Nice.
Gotten both of them so far.
This potency doth be what gives yon knight his excellence. 'Tis a field of vivacity that proceedeth forth from all spirits. It doth ensconce and infuse us. It be the cord that bindeth all heavens.
It's Yoda from.
You're close.
Really?
You are very close.
It's the thing that binds us.
Yes, but
surrounds
you
us
don't
in
have the
love.
right character.
Oh, what?
mean,
You're in the right franchise.
Palpatine?
No, you're in the right franchise. You do not have the right character.
Oh, Qui-Gon Jinn, episode
Nope.
1?
2 not sequels.
Oh, okay. So it's Obi-Wan, episode 4.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wow. He almost talks like Shakespeare, anyways. You should
Yeah, I
just
know.
use the actual line.
I know. There are a couple I wanted to use, and I was like,
together.
if there was no way for me to Shakespeareify, it was already very eloquent.
Like use any line from Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Thine fraudulent worship and decrepit arms doth not match the benefit of a well-made crossbow, child.
Hokey religions aren't as good as
Are no match for
no match for an
kid.
old blaster at your side, kid. That's Han Solo from episode 4.
Thinkest thou the shade thy confederate? Yet thou'rt but ward of the shadows. 'Twas mine birthright, mine nature and wound. Verily, I didst not gaze upon the luminous until my manhood was full. 'Twas but a blinding sore.
Dark Knight Rises, Bane.
Thinkest thou the shade thy confederate?
I'm so bad at this.
These humble shadows hath forsaken thee, for they are mine and mine alone. Gaze upon mine abode whilst thou prepare justice. Hence, I shall rend thee.
Sorry, was that a new one?
No, that's the continuation of that quote.
Okay.
I will break you.
I will break you.
Thou art a melancholic, peculiar, meager man, and thou hast mine compunction. Fare thee well.
You are a sad, sorry, simple little man.
Toy Story.
And you have my pity. Farewell.
Farewell.
Thou art a bauble.
You are.
I just watched that. So good.
So good. Verily, I am true enough to be thy end. Thus I have accomplished in spite of thine cherished boons, thine idolized energies. I shall give them thence gallantry, the finest gallantry they shall lay eyes upon. Ooh, I have a period, comma. That's not
I shall give them. Is that Man of Steel?
It is a superhero movie, but no. And it is a villain.
Oh, okay. It's Dark Knight, and it's I'll give them a villain that.
Not a villain.
No, really.
It's an animated movie. It's a villain.
You could
monologuing.
spell it out for me. I still wouldn't get it.
Oh, it's Syndrome.
It's
from,
Syndrome.
from freaking. Okay.
Yes.
Wait, what
oh,
was
I'm
it?
real enough to defeat you, and I did it without your precious gifts, your oh so special powers. I'll give them heroics. I'll give them the most spectacular heroics everyone's seen.
Is when Owen Super.
Yeah.
That's the line. I only
Whenceforth
remember.
my course has run and my amusement dissipated. I shall disperse mine goods that all may partake in such gallantry. Whence all a paragon, none shall be.
That part I would have gotten.
I wouldn't have.
See, thou knowest all. In truth, thine companion be but at the doorstep of death. A vast gap existeth between the doorstep and the house proper. At the doorstep, he yet retains the slightest vivacity. This is I would say a rom-com. Very famous movie.
Something about being close to death.
Yes, very quoted. He's close to death, but he's not all the way dead.
It's a rom-com.
Is but a flesh wound. Is it? I was thinking
Too old.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh. It's Princess Bride.
Yeah, it's Billy Crystal.
What part of it?
Billy Crystal. They go to when he gets his soul sucked, and they take him to Miracle Max.
I'm not gonna know the line. I don't know that movie well enough.
He's only mostly dead,
Oh, okay.
and mostly dead is still a little alive. Thou didst hear an error. Transparently he didst utter to blave, which the simplest fool doth understand to mean to bluff. Indubitably thou wert a dalliance of cards, and perceived him to be a charlatan. But clearly you were playing cards, and he cheated. Y'all need to watch that movie more. We shall achieve absolute supremacy in all aspects of this competition. If thou'st receive not the orb, thou shalt lope 5,000 paces. If thou'st fail to intercept an offender, thou shalt lope 5,000 paces.
So good. Remember the Titans.
Yep.
Coach Boone.
And should thou misplace the orb from thy hands, I shalt rend my node appendage in thine posterior parts. And then thou shalt lope 5,000 paces.
We will be perfect.
Forsooth, that venom, that toxin deigned for the emperor, that gall selected in particular to end the reign of the emperor, the reign of the king, his bane, yon venom.
Oh, dude, that is the Emperor's New Groove, Kronk. Goose Ghost poison. Poison specifically made to kill.
Goose Ghost poison. By all hearsay, there can be no sense made of such things. All right. I think this is the last one. Yep. Not passeth the dawn, but giveth me remembrance upon mine guilt. Not in my current domain, nor in thy reasoning. I peer into the past upon myself, a mere youth, an imbecile who didst conspire in that woeful trespass. I wouldst parley with him. I would speak sense to him, inform him of true reality, but I am unable. The youth is thus past, and my decrepit form is all that remains. Thus shall I ever live. And I know both of you have seen this movie.
I know it.
Yes,
I know.
you do.
I know the. If I had a chance, I would tell him. I would try.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the Shawshank Redemption.
Yep.
This is when Red is getting questioned his second time.
Yep.
Ah, yeah. Man, what a great moment.
Yeah.
I would
To
try
be
speak
renewed,
some sense.
'tis not but excrement. Go on and inscribe thou thy parchment wastrel, and wasteth not mine daylight hours. I speak in truth, I care not one whit. Thank you, Blue Squire.
Beautiful. That was fun.
Hey.
Well done.
Nice.
Can you
wanna-
can you flip that back to the 4D thing?
Can I flip that back to the
No,
floor?
I'm asking Marco. The
Yeah,
white remote's right
I
over
should be
there.
able to. Yeah. You can go ahead. Greg.
All right. So I got a couple segments here. The first thing I want to start with, and this is kind of motivated just because I didn't go through the movies we watched. None of us did.
Ah, boo. Give it to him. Just boo this man.
I will say this in all fairness, Marco, I don't think has watched any movies.
I've watched 2 movies.
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, go ahead at first.
You should put me on the spot here.
And while he's thinking, the only movies I've watched with Greg.
So like that's why I was thinking I might be the only one that has a movie list, and that's why I skipped it.
So I've watched. Let me pull up my list here. My list of 2, just to make sure that I'm
Coin flip.
good to go. I watched most recently. I watched the first Spider-Man because I was the plan.
Spider-Man.
The plan was to start watching all of the Spider-Man movies so that I can watch the upcoming Spider-Man movie. That lasted all the way up until the World Cup, and then I stopped watching everything except the World Cup because that has basically been my life for the last couple of weeks. Before that, though,
He has a job too. I don't know.
I do have a job.
He's got a boss.
Thank you for
Who
my
lets him
boss.
watch the World Cup in his office?
I watched
Fair.
so quick. Spider-Man 1. If it wasn't such a nostalgic movie to me, God, it's a bad movie.
Really? I think it's phenomenal.
It's just corny.
It
It is
is
objectively
corny.
corny.
oh, for sure. But I
like-
think it does it. I think it does
Yeah.
everything. Really
I
well.
like everything else about it.
It is corny to the point where it's almost ridiculous. That's why it's such a bad movie. But it's one of those where it's close to being. It's so bad it's good.
It's not so
Really,
bad.
I think it's so good. It's good. I think there are definitely casting decisions in terms of the age of the actors. They all look too old.
it's one of those high
And,
schools
you
where
know,
everybody looks 40.
Again,
What?
it's the early 2000s, so obviously the special effects and things have aged.
Yeah,
but
it's a
Willem
little
Dafoe
corny.
is just so
Yes.
perfect.
I will say that
and
Willem
honestly,
Dafoe
I
was
think-
really, really good in
I
that
think
movie.
Tobey Maguire
Tobey
knocks it
Maguire's
out of the
great.
park.
Yeah, he's
And
a
then-
phenomenal Spider-Man.
You want to talk about sequels? Spider-Man 2 is better than Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man 3,
Haven't gotten there
not
yet.
as
Granted, I have seen him.
Spider-Man 3 is in the so bad it's good category.
Yes,
Now
that
we
one
can
is
have
so
that
bad it's
conversation.
I'm
This one is
excited
just
to
a good movie.
continue watching all of the Spider-Man movie. And
What's your
then
second one?
the other movie that I watched was Cleaner.
is that the Daisy Ridley one?
I don't know who.
Uncleaner.
I don't know who
Unsteiner.
plays in it, but
Ray Palpatine?
It's a
Is the girl from Star Wars?
No,
Rape?
no. It's about a guy
I'm right.
who cleans houses after
murders
and stuff like that, and then he cleans a murder that nobody really knew yet, and they tried to pin him. Anyways, it is the exact definition of a par movie. It is a exactly 5 out of 10, 2.5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. It is exactly par. It is literally par. There's nothing bad. There's nothing good. It is just a movie. That's it. And then also,
did any of you guys watch that one? It was like George Clooney and
oh yeah,
that was also about
Whatever
like crime scene
happened to that
cleaners.
movie?
I saw so many commercials. It was called Wolves or something like that.
Yeah.
I saw so many trailers for it, and then I heard literally nothing about it.
George
I have no
Clooney
idea.
and Brad Pitt.
Yeah, and Brad Pitt, which I'm like, that seems like something
that
I would
movie
want to
must
watch.
have been so bad.
It must have been so bad for it to
not go
just like
anywhere.
absolutely be an absolute dud. I've heard literally not a single person talk about it. I didn't even know it came out or not because I kept seeing trailers for it, and I just never.
Had to have been
know.
terrible.
and the last thing that I've been watching, me and my wife have been watching Game of Thrones. We're about probably, I would assume, 1 or 2 episodes into season 2. I don't really know. She'll probably correct me and yell at me that I don't know this, but we're getting there. I know we're in season 2 because Buddy died. Shocker.
Shockular.
I mean, that's just like
That's it. That's what I've been watching. Other than, like I said, the World Cup,
So
because that's what I like.
I have a segment talking about movie sequels that we can kind of all open it up to. But it was motivated based on the fact that Nathaniel and I have watched a lot of movies with sequels.
It did come out. Wolves. It came out last year. Looks like it. So it looks like it may have just come out on Apple TV.
Oh,
and that might be why. And it's got like a 60. So it's
maybe we need to get around to watching that.
maybe.
I'll start with some of the things that I watched without Nathaniel. So I watched the Hunger Games series.
Oh, I'm a liar. I did watch that.
Oh yeah, Marco watched 2 of those with me at least.
One of them.
And then you went, and then you're like, nope.
No, you're right. It was 2 of them. You're right.
You left like halfway through the second one.
Yeah, but I've seen them a million times. I like them.
I watched those 4.
I was about to say, how many are there? There's 4 because they did the split the last book
yeah,
into.
I think 1 is good. I actually think 2 is better. I think one. I thought 2 was a more complete movie. I thought the characters actually cared about them in 2, whereas the first one they were just a little whiny, a little annoying. And then 3 and 4 just got really, really boring. 3 and 4, in my opinion.
Did you watch any of the
far less
prequel ones?
interesting.
Songbird or
I have
Fire
not watched
and
any of those.
They're okay.
Maybe I'll get around to
They're
watching
okay. I like them.
I watched Toy Story 1 and 2, and we'll continue that. Man, both of them are so good. So good.
I'd love to go back and rewatch.
They're
Except A Bug's Life is so ugly. I have trouble watching it.
Well, the first Toy Story is pretty
pretty
darn
ugly, but its story's so good I can get past it.
yes, and the second one is just objectively like a better story.
So
as
good.
good. I mean, 1 is phenomenal, and 2 is just better. Like so, watching the both of them, like man, I wish I could just keep watching movies like this forever. Which apparently everybody else does too, because there's a 5th one coming out, but it goes downhill.
It's not how that works.
What else did I watch? I watched The Island without you.
Wait, was that the one about the clones?
Yeah.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched it in theaters when it came out, and it was the theater kept like closing down, and I was like, I'm not too hurt about it. Like it kept breaking. We had to go out and it's like that was not a very good movie.
It was not.
Very
So
good.
this is what motivated my second segment, which is just talking about how I rate movies, like personally, like my scale of like the things I look for, and how like 2 big categories are the story that you're telling and then how you tell that story, and that The Island is an example of like a good plot, like a good story in the sense of like if you were to explain what the story is, I'd go, oh my gosh, that sounds so interesting, but you told it terribly. Like it is just a horribly, it's so bad. And then a movie like Rushmore that we watch where the story is incredibly simple. It's like there's a boy and he likes a girl, and then there's another guy that likes the girl. And there's a little bit of drama, and the movie's over. You're like, okay, well, that's incredibly simple,
so
but
good.
it's told so well. So you're like, okay, well, so I'm gonna get into that in my second segment, but yes, very bizarre movie, The Island, and then everything else is stuff that I watched with Nathaniel. So we went through, we watched this all the way back to Street Fighter, Legend of Chun-Li.
Oh man, that was a bad
which
movie.
was wow. Like my review on Letterboxd was like, I am surprised this is a movie. Like I'm so surprised. Like this was like it looked like a CW special, and it was bad
rough.
for that.
It was rough.
It was so bad. Horrible movie. Please never watch it. Mortal Kombat 2, very good.
Yeah, that was actually good.
Super fun movie. Very.
They took off because the first one was good.
Yes, it was.
But it was definitely like felt like it was leaning into the trying to be serious.
Well, and they followed the one character that wasn't actually from the game.
Yeah, they created
So
their own
liked it.
character, and that aspect of it kind of fell flat. And in this one, they just literally just put him on ice.
They like nerfed him and then he dies.
Yeah, they nerf him and then he dies. Spoilers. And then, but they leaned into the fact that Mortal Kombat is incredibly goofy. Yeah. And they did it without taking the stakes away. Like the stakes are still there, but it's like the characters themselves are not necessarily serious characters. Well, but like you have the serious characters and they act serious, but then you have Johnny Cage, who's not a serious character, and it works really well. Yeah. He's great.
Kano's hysterical.
We
also watched through all 5 of the Hannibal movies. So this was right. Hannibal Rising,
which there were
there
were 2 good ones,
2.5,
and then
ones.
There was one, the original one that doesn't have
Manhunter.
Yeah, Manhunter was actually pretty solid.
Yeah, so it was. They basically the only reason I think it gets overshadowed is because they basically made a better version of it later on.
Red Dragon apparently is more true to the book.
It's just a superior version. It's more true to the book, and I think it just focuses on a more interesting part. So this is a prequel in the sense of like if you've seen The Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs is technically the second book, so it was the one that took off with Anthony Hopkins, and then they went back and remade Red Dragon.
Right. So this was about the story of the detective who caught Hannibal Lecter initially, and then he's kind of doing the same thing that that Clarice is doing, where he's going to Hannibal for advice. Scarlise, I don't know. Anyways,
Scarlise Theron.
But it's just done really, really well. The acting, I mean, it's star-studded, like across the board. Everybody's really good. Red Dragon, obviously. Silence of the Lambs is incredible. Hannibal is a clown show. That movie just felt like 3 movies that they just shoved together.
It was like overly gross and also just bad.
It was like, remember, it opens up with not Clarice, played by a different actress, and then it just jumps to like it jumps to Italy for like an hour and a half, and then it comes back to her, and you're like, wait, she's still involved in this? Like, yeah, so weird. Just a really, really poorly put together movie. And then Hannibal Rising. All right, this is something that I've been waiting to do for a long time. But right, Marco, we're gonna play a game with you. This is not a segment.
I forgot.
Okay, yeah, okay. So we didn't like. You can scheme something. I'll scheme something now. Yeah. So Marco, we're going to tell you.
La da 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 da, I can't hear you. Dee 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 dee, I can't hear you. While they're saying something, I'm just going to entertain you because apparently that's what I'm supposed to do.
All right, here we go. Back. All right, so we, like you said, we watched the Hannibal series. Very sophisticated villain. I don't know if you know Hannibal Lecter, yeah? More or less. Like he's a very sophisticated serial killer, but he's super proper. Anyways, so here is this guy, Anthony Hopkins. He's an incredible villain, and they make an origin story for him called Hannibal Rising, right? Okay. And surprisingly, this is based off a book. Shocking me. Now, this movie, we watched it, and we are going to give you 3 plots. All right? Okay. So I am going to give you a plot that I made up, and then Nathaniel's going to give you a plot that he made up, and well, then who's going to explain the real plot?
Why don't all three come from you, Greg? Yeah. Just to make it easy.
Okay, I'll give you 3 plots.
Yeah, give him 3 plots.
Okay, I'll give you 3 plots, and I'll just have to be super creative.
And what am I supposed to do? Pick the right one?
You're going to try to pick the right one.
Okay.
All right?
Go ahead.
So, and
this is
we need to give you more clues of like the actual real like Silence of the Lambs, so you can actually make an educated guess. So he's in jail when you meet him, but he's incredibly sophisticated. He's drawing paintings, and they're hanging on the walls. And he's like an incredible like psychologist. Like he's incredibly well spoken.
Okay.
And he's a profiler, so he can look at you and be like, "Oh, you said a couple things this way. That's because your dad beat you as a kid." Like he can just like zone into.
He's very good at getting into people's heads. Yes. And he's an aesthete. He's a sophisticate. He's
super sophisticated.
He loves the opera, and they even tell like a story where he goes to the because he eats people. So he goes to an orchestra, and one of the flautists is slightly off key, so he kills that flautist and feeds him to the rest of the orchestra.
Yeah, like but he does it because
hell is a flautist?
A flute player.
Flute player.
Who's?
Anyways, right?
Literally
this
everyone.
Is the kind of guy. This is the kind of guy that would say these words, Marco.
Don't be a pianist.
All right. So I'm gonna give you a few. I'm gonna give you a few. The plots, and you're going to tell me.
Yeah.
You're going to tell
which
me
one do you think is real.
Which one do you think is real?
Okay.
Let's see if I remember which one's real.
All right. So plot 1, we go back into his past. He grows up in Germany, and he is attending a really, really strict boarding school. At this school, he is taught like super proper English and super proper German, and he is starting to really enjoy it. But the kids at school are super, super mean, and to the point where they keep making fun of his mom because his mom is like super, super hot. And so he is slowly like ticked off by this, and he just thinks kind of less of these kids, and he kind of gets pushed more to the brink until one of the kids is nasty enough to actually like play a prank on his mom driving, and she drives out the side of the road. She dies. And so now, on top of this boarding school, he's like put into this like weird orphanage thing. And so now he's kind of taken his really sophisticated upbringing, and he's leveraging that against these kids, and he like hunts each of them down slowly. And like it takes place, like it doesn't just start when they're kids. Like it's like he slowly gets older, and so like the story kind of jumps around to where by the end of it, he's still in adolescence. He was 20 something by the end of it.
Yeah, he's real young at the end.
And so anyway, so he's just been hunting down all these different kids, and like that's his background. All taking place in different parts of Germany. Okay. That's plot number one.
Okay.
You forgot to mention the part where he eats them.
Okay. Well, yes, he's hunting them down to kill them.
Well,
He takes a trophy. Like he'll only take like one body part.
Right. All right. Plot number two. He grows up in. Well, he was born in Germany. Then he went to what? Was it Italy? So he's born in Germany, but then they move quickly. I don't know. It's somewhere where there's rugby. It's somewhere where there's rugby.
South Africa.
And he starts playing rugby on whatever the rugby team, and then he realizes that he just loves like the physical nature of all of it. It was really weird. So he gets super into like beating people up. And then that slowly develops into this weird obsession with like the feeling of skin. And so he starts to like change his classes, right? Because he's got a scholarship and he's moving on to the next level. And he's like looking up the different like sciences behind what were the names of the skin sciences? I don't know. There was some
just anatomy and physiology.
It was like, yes, but it was going into like excruciating detail. And it was it was like so now he's like getting close to his rugby teammates as a brawler, and he's like slowly luring them into like, hey man, let's train, and you just go and like start cutting them up, and there was only one point where there was an actual point to him being like, this guy has been really struggling on the team, and so I'm doing like the service, but none of the other ones had any like direction as to why he was doing those things. And then slowly he makes his way, like they start kind of like there is a detective trying to like pick up the threads as to what's going on. And you kind of like, I thought that he was actually going to start helping the detective and it was going to be a little bit like more of a foreshadowing of the other movies, but that doesn't actually happen. And then he ends up just kind of like stowing away at the end. It's him like on a ship to the US to be like, I'm moving away from my past. Super weird. So that's the second plot. The third plot, good Lord. The third plot is he grows up in Germany. It's during one of the wars. Help me out. Early war.
World War II.
World War II, Austria. And these Nazis like take over his house. They're running from like the Russians, and they kind of take over his house and hold him and his family hostage. They kill the parents. It's him and his sister. And then it's like slowly like they're like bunkered down there for a long time, so eventually they're like getting super hungry and they're like, shoot, we just have to eat the little sister. And so they like take her outside and they kill her, and then they eat her, and then they feed her to him. And then he grows up his whole life in a boarding school where he doesn't say a word. He's like a total mute. And then he finds out that like it was like his uncle was dating this hot Asian lady, and so
he walks to France.
He walks to France, and then he finds the hot Asian lady, and he's like, hey, I think like you're kind of my aunt. And then she's like, okay, that's cool. You look like your uncle. And then she trains him to become a samurai.
Gross, dude.
And he becomes a samurai and starts chopping up all of these Nazis that he hunts down that made him eat his sister, and he cuts them up like a samurai, and then he eats them. And then yes, he eats them.
Yeah, which one do you think is
the
real?
Plot of the third one.
I don't know.
I did a pretty good job.
1, 2, or 3.
No,
I'll
tell you this. I'm very curious. I'll answer my assumption.
Okay.
Is probably
give me like all your thoughts.
I would go with number one because that's the most plausible for a story.
Okay.
In terms of how a movie should go, I feel like that would probably be the most logical for story writing and ease of creating movies.
Yes,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Number two doesn't make a ton of sense because if you're in rugby, you're getting your head bashed in, and he's not very smart anymore. That to me, that's my brain.
Yeah,
that's my brain. And then number three is, from the very, very minimal information I have about this guy, I don't remember anything about the Nazis, so I'm going to say that's out. Now, my real question is how the hell did you memorize all 3 of these before? Was this like from a thing?
2 of those he made up on the spot.
2 of them.
I jumped in to corroborate all of them.
I would look over at Nathaniel and be like, "Yeah, right," yeah. Just to try to make it seem more legit. I was making all that up.
So congratulations for that. Was really cool. Now, I'm gonna go with number 1 just because it's the most plausible for movie and story writing. But
that would have been a good plot.
That would have been a good plot. It was not number 1. Which one do you think?
The third one, I guess. But I don't remember anything about the Nazis.
Yeah, it's the third one.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, he literally he's like in Austria. The Nazis and the Russians are fighting, so Nazis come take over his house, kill his sister, feed him to him, and then he goes to he ends up in an orphanage in that same house where his parents were killed and his sister was eaten, which is not explained. And he grows up there, and everyone thinks he's a mute. And then he just decides one day he's going to up and walk to France. He literally walks to France from Austria, walks to France, meets his hot Asian aunt, who trains him to be a samurai, and then he starts killing and eating people. That is the plot.
A samurai.
It's so bizarre.
It is.
It's bonkers.
It's absolutely wild. So
I guess the only like solid answer I had out of that was that rugby makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I didn't think samurai would make a whole lot of sense either.
Well, samurai doesn't make a whole lot of sense either.
Yeah, but you're right. Yes,
I was trying to think on the Nazi thing, and I was just like, I don't remember anything.
I need to make one that's really good, and I make one that's super goofy, and then I need to tell the real one.
The thing is, the real one's so goofy.
It's so goofy.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, that was a segue. But me and Nathaniel really wanted. When we watched it, I was like, we have to do this.
We have to do this, Marco.
Nathaniel and I also watched through Spider-Man Noir. We talked about that.
It was great.
It was great. Highly recommend. Might do a segment at some point on Black and White or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm a big fan of that.
We watched a movie that Nathaniel has saved an entire segment for. So I'll just say the name: Citizen Vigilante. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, man.
It is. We might get banned
in Germany. So whatever. They just lost the World Cup. Spoilers.
And the latest movie we watched was Rushmore, which is so good. I've been wanting to. So I'm not like a massive Wes Anderson fan. I like some of his. I really like Fantastic Mr. Fox, and some of his other ones I think are good. But Rushmore has been my favorite one of his. Like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, it's really good. It handles. It's a boy who he's just so like he's just the greatest kid. He's like failing all of his classes, but he's in every extracurricular you can think of, and he's like the captain of every club possible. And he's made and he's obsessed with his high school. He's like my whole entire life is Rushmore, and they're like, yeah, but you're failing. Like you're gonna get kicked up, and he just has this posture of like. Of being an adult everywhere he goes. He's like obsessed with being like that. And he's an 18-year-old or 17-year-old. And so everywhere he walks.
He's 15 in the movie.
Everywhere he walks, he just puts his hand in. He's like, hey, can I get you a drink? Hey, thanks. And people are just like, what the hell is this kid? Like, but he's so great.
I love it when he crashes out. He just starts smoking cigarettes all the time. It's so funny. He's constantly smoking. So it's like classic Wes Anderson in that, you know, we talk a lot about times like there's dialogue and the dialogue is like people don't talk like that.
Yeah.
Well, in Wes Anderson movies, the way he writes dialogue, people don't talk like that.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue but it's very intentionally written. It's overwritten in a way that's very like, it's very play-like.
Yeah.
It's written, all Wes Anderson films are written like they're plays. And in fact, even the cinematography, now that I think about it, it's a lot of head-on still shots, tracking shots, where you're only seeing from a front angle, basically.
Yeah.
He does a lot of that. And so it's very much like a movie version of a lot of it feels like a movie version of a very stylized play. And so even though the dialogue is not realistic, it's always very clever, very well-constructed dialogue. And it's even as wordy as it gets sometimes, the dialogue is still very concise. It's not a lot of extra bits. It's pretty lean, even as wordy as it is. The characters say exactly what they need to say for the scene. It's very efficient dialogue, even though it is a lot of wordy. But his characters are always so great.
Yeah.
He does such a good job of writing characters that are very distinctive and they're very sharp characters that you're like, this is, you know, they're multifaceted, but really they have this one big personality trait that kind of informs everything they do. And all of his stuff is like, how do these character traits end up interacting with each other, which is what leads for all the interesting things. And so what I really loved about Rushmore was his friendship with Bill Murray's character.
I know, because they're like the same person.
It's so good, and it's so rare to see these days a non-homosexual male relationship that's actually a strong relationship,
right? And
B a like an older younger relationship, like an intergenerational relationship like that, where you could argue it's because Humphrey or whatever his name was. What is his Herbert?
Like Herman.
Herman. Thank you. Yeah. Herman. It's because he's so immature that he's basically on the same level as him. But I just love the fact that they end up connecting.
Yeah.
Because of certain things, like they end up connecting through multiple things. And then, of course, their head-to-head ends up being because of this girl. But they really do. At the end, you're like, they really are friends, even though there's like a 20+ year age gap between them. They are actual friends.
Well, it's like Bill Murray is this so extremely wealthy guy who's just like totally done with life. He has these 2 head case sons that are in the school that
they're just total jocks.
They're total jocks, and he's just like he's over everything. And he at one point gives a speech where he's just like, all of you guys have like silver spoons in your mouth, and like none of you guys really know what it's like here at Rushmore because it's a very ritzy school. And the kid who's the main kid's name? What's his?
It's Jason Bateman.
Yeah,
Schwartzman.
I keep wanting to call him Schwartzman, but
his name is gosh, I'm completely blanking.
Fisher.
Max Fisher.
Max Fisher.
His name's Max Fisher.
Max Fisher is like, oh my gosh, it was the greatest speech ever. But he talks to him like an adult. He's just like, hey, I really wanted to tell you that I really appreciated that speech. Not a lot of people here get that. And Bill Murray's just like looking around, and he's like, huh. He's like smoking a cigarette, and he's like, that's a pretty sharp kid. And so he goes and like he watches like his son's wrestling match, and then Max just comes and sits down next to him and crosses his leg and is just like talking to him like an adult. And eventually Bill Murray's just like, hey, do you want to work for me? and he's like, no, it's fine. Like I don't need to. Like he's such a, and you can tell he's just like, he's so over life, and he's finally found something interesting that he's like, wow, Max is actually like a cool. And so Max is like all of a sudden super passionate about getting this one teacher's attention, and he's like, hey, I need your help. And he's excited by that. Bill Murray's like, oh man, I'm fired up by helping you do this. And he's like, at first he's like sticking up for him. He's like, hey man, this kid's really cool. But then he falls in love with the teacher, and then that starts the feud between him and Max and Herman. And then it's very childish. And then the teacher is like, yeah, both of you guys are children. And it's good. The teacher handles him being interested in her exactly how an adult should. She's like, you're very sweet. No. That's yes. There's no like, well, we could.
There's never a will they, won't they. She's very much like, this is not happening.
He's clearly persistent because he's a kid, and she is very much like, you need to leave. Anytime that he's like too much, she's like, stop. You need to go. Like, this is immature. Like anytime he like, asks questions, she's like, it's not a matter of any of those things. You're just a kid. This is not going to happen. So I was like, it's great because then you can kind of get on board with him just being like this little kid with a dream. Like, oh, I want to fall in love with you, and you know it's not gonna. So you feel okay about that rather than every other movie you watch, you're just like, ew, this is icky. Stop. I can't do any of this.
100%.
And it was just so charming. Like the movie's great. Sorry, I won't get into it too much just because it's just a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, it's really good. I also, Wes Anderson does a really good job with like the secondary character who's a straight man, in this case Dirk.
Yeah, Dirk,
like,
so good.
He always has these fairly minor characters who don't have a whole lot of dialogue, but are just like there to support the main character, and they're always so crucially important to the plot.
Yeah.
I love the way Wes Anderson
definitely recommend going and watching it. It's an really hour and a half. It's just such an easy watch.
Good.
I could go back and watch it like tomorrow with a friend. Like it's such a great movie.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to get into one of my segments, and this is just kind of like an open-ended one that we can all kind of throw our hats in and chat about. This is movies and movie sequels. This is obviously something that's been happening a lot. Nathaniel and I have this weird measurement that we talk about sometimes, where we're like, if a movie isn't a remake, a sequel, or obnoxiously woke, we're probably going to be okay with seeing it, even if it's bad. Like, it's like, all right, well, at least you tried something new. Like, you tried
Citizen
something.
Vigilante springs to mind.
Oh, gosh. We'll get to that in your segment. But movie sequels have been a big thing, whether it is remaking a sequel, which is just exhausting to even say, just tagging both of them on there, or you've just got a film series that has an existing fan base, and you are just like running like sequels to that. So this is brought up mainly because Toy Story 5 just came out. And I know that you've watched all of the Toy Stories?
At least 1, 2, and 3, but I don't recall number 4. But it's been a while since I've watched any of them, so I don't really know. I'd have to look.
So this is like, so when thinking about movies and movie sequels, there are definitely, I think most of them take this course. Like this is my general understanding of typical movie franchises.
Right.
Is you'll make a movie, and it's big enough and it does well enough that the person says, I can make more of this movie.
Yes.
So typically they try to create another story within that universe. And at this point, it's usually just good or bad. Like in my opinion, like there's the typical, like, you made a sequel and you shouldn't have, or there's that this is a good enough intellectual property. This is good enough IP that you can make more of these and it's going to be fine.
Right.
And then 3 typically is the magic number, right? You make your third and it's like, all right, it's time to end. Like everybody, so you think of like the Dark Knight trilogy, right? So you made Batman Begins, huge success. You made The Dark Knight, one of the greatest superhero movies ever, arguably the greatest. And then you make Dark Knight Rises, where everybody's like, it was fine, but we're glad it's over. Like that needed to end.
Yeah.
And I think most movies take this kind of trajectory. There are some exceptions though, and this is something I was chatting with you about earlier.
Yeah.
What are some of those? Like if you can think about movies that come to mind where you were like, first one, fine. Second one, phenomenal.
So
did it ever get better?
I'm going to go with the idea of superhero movies in the sense that I'm specifically talking about the Avengers series, specifically the Avengers.
Like the whole MCU?
No. The Avengers Endgame, Infinity War.
Fair.
Specifically that are
our Avengers,
Avengers.
Yeah.
Avengers 1, phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah.
2, which was
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron,
yeah,
it was okay.
True. It was not out of them all. That was.
It was all right.
Yeah, not very.
But then it peaks like super hard with Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah,
it peaked so hard.
Yeah,
and then it fell off. But that
is an interesting trajectory. If you just take the Avengers, that's actually a really interesting one because I think if you're going to talk about how they were received, like as far as their acclaim, because I think superhero movies are tough, right? Because everybody can just have you can just be like, no, I just like this superhero better. So I like the Hulk movies, I like the whatever movies, regardless of whether they were technically better or not. But as far as like how movies did and critical acclaim, if you want to say that, it really did go. Avengers 1 was kind of groundbreaking, and Age of Ultron was underwhelming for a lot of people.
Correct.
And then it spiked really high back up with Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then Endgame was huge because it was like a cultural phenomenon.
Right.
But most people would say that Infinity War was better than Endgame.
Correct.
That Endgame kind of muddied the waters a little bit too much with all the time travel and stuff. And that Thanos is so one of the big, and we're kind of going off on a little tangent here, but one of the big praises of Infinity War is that Thanos was such a great villain because this is how you should write villains. I mean, it's rudimentary, but it's like, this is technically how you should do it. You should make a villain who's clearly motivated by his desires, but those desires you can obviously see as being like crazy and wrong. So he's like, hey, I can believe Thanos when he's like, hey, I'm doing this for the good of mankind. I'm doing this for the good of people.
He's psychotic.
Yeah. But he
has a line of thought that you can kind of generally follow.
You're like, oh, because of your background, this is why you think what you're doing is right. And it's not super hard. Like, it's kind of a basic thing to do, but like they did a good job of it.
Yeah.
And they do that in Infinity War. And then in Endgame, he's kind of just like, you guys made me mad and I'm going to enjoy killing you now. And you're like, like you've kind of become like this very one-dimensional villain. And so that was some of the critique lobbed against it. But it is funny because you're right. I think that one does a little bit more of it's kind of hacked up and weird to where it's like 1 very high, 2 kind of low, 3 really high, and then 4 kind of low.
But I would even say 4 is so good.
Yeah, 4 is not low.
But it's Infinity War and Endgame as a collective is the other thing because you can't have one without the other, realistically. I mean, you technically you could watch them
there were like 2
independently.
movies made in between those, but like, yes, I get what you're saying. Everybody disappears at the end.
Yeah.
Is he stuck on the outside?
Yeah.
We had a technical moment. But yes. So my main point being that at what point is it does it become obvious that you're like, hey, the story itself should have ended, but you're just making these sequels to try to make money? Like, and I think it does get pretty obvious with most movies.
Yeah.
So like, I think you have like the Matrix movies. I think that the first 3 Matrix movies are all fine in the sense that like they might tell the story better or worse in each movie, but they're at the very least starting with Neo. And then it's about how he's trying to save humanity, and then it's him bartering with the machines and saving the day.
Right.
Like that is the arc, right? Pirates of the Caribbean, we have, Jack Sparrow and like their whole weird adventure.
Yep.
And then you have Davy Jones coming to collect the debt that we learned about Jack Sparrow in the first movie.
Yep.
And then we have it concluding in the third movie with them finally defeating Davy Jones, but now Will Turner is the new, captain of the Dutchman and all that stuff, and it kind of completes itself. And then you have after that being like very obviously like, oh, let's just go make some spin-off of this.
Yeah.
And it's super obvious that you're
it's
like,
so bad.
These movies needed to end. I think Toy Story is an obvious candidate for that because of 3 ending so well. Like 3 ended to where you're like, oh, here we have with the introduction. I just watched 1 and 2. So you have Andy being one of the most creative kids, right? He plays with his toys and just has these creative, and it's so great because I remember watching this as a kid and having those same thoughts. Where like, this is how I play with my toys. I give them all thoughts and names, and they have different powers. And it's a dinosaur, but he can shoot lasers, whatever. and he's doing all of those things, and you're like, this is so great. He's in the first one, they're dealing with what toy is liked more than the other, and you're kind of. That is the drama of the movie. And the second one is, well, what happens when eventually we get old and torn up and whatever. And the conclusion of the movie is, it's Woody's line to what's the girl
Pete?
Cowboy?
Oh, Jesse,
where he's like, you're right. Like, it might not be long until he goes off to college or whatever, but I wouldn't miss it for the world. Like, he's like, hey, it's worth it. Like, he's concluded that it is worth being torn up for being loved by a kid. And then the third one, this is the one that like the only thought that I have is they were kind of rehashing old thoughts when they were like, oh, now what are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do? He's getting too old for us. What's the plan? And I'm like, well, you guys already talked about this in the second movie, but it ends so well. Like, the ending is exactly what it should be, because it can't be Andy actually took him to college. Like, when you're gonna be like, no, kid, it's actually gonna like he's not gonna be like, yeah.
Adult people wouldn't have action figures and toys. That wouldn't happen.
Correction, he wouldn't love them the way that he's loved them. Like, he's not gonna take his Woody doll.
He'd be in the pile of Funko Pops.
It's but that's what you wanted in your heart. You're like, well, it can't end with him just throwing them in a box. It can't end with him taking him to college. And so, at least for me, I didn't even like picture this in my head. I'm like, oh, that's such a creative way to do it. You introduce a new kid character who's very charming and likable, who has some of her own toys, and you can kind of tell that she's creative by showing some of her playtime, whatever. And then we have, by happenstance, Andy dropping them off to her, and then taking the time to explain to her, this is so and so, this is what he does, and like kind of giving these backstories. And you're like, this is actually what a kid would do. Like, this is I can get the feels from that, because I've had to get rid of things that have meant a lot to me because I'm like, I'm too old for this, and I've sat there and been like, whatever it is, that shirt was, I remember when I got that shirt, like, it's kind of like, and you have this little moment, and like, that's him having that moment. So the ending justified, a movie that kind of drug for me, in my opinion, but that's fine. And then they just made more. Like, that's where I really am just disappointed in, like, creativity in Hollywood. I'm like, dog, you've never had more capabilities to make anything, and I do think. And what you said makes sense, with Backrooms and Obsession, they are still in the horror genre, although Backrooms is teetering on being like kind of a suspense, like, I guess it is more of a horror.
It's still technically a horror movie.
But something like that's unique, and like, hey, you've got the means to make anything. Like, man, movies could be anything you want now. Like, we could literally do anything. Like, there's no boundaries to.
I think, especially with AI, even though there's a huge backlash against it, and if there are good reasons to be very careful about it.
Sure.
But I think it is going to end up being a tool that will let people who have basically no budget build things that they would otherwise not be able to create. So the tools that are now available to creators, to people who do have legitimately creative ideas, now have access to more powerful tools than they ever had. And so it's just a matter of them using them, putting them together. And so I legitimately think in the next 10 years, we will see indie movies break out of that.
Yeah.
We're going to see something like a Lego movie or a Toy Story or something like that that's aimed at general audiences, that's going to make money.
Yeah.
And it's going to fundamentally change Hollywood and how Hollywood works, because then Hollywood's going to be like, we better start going after these small guys and giving them small budgets and saying, hey, here's $100,000, go do something for us.
Right. Well, and that's where you get interesting things. That's where you're like, hey, maybe you're going to get a movie that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but like, it's not going to cost you a whole lot.
Yep.
And then you can eventually make one that's actually really cool and creative, because it's just so exhausting watching things that aren't creative.
Yep.
Like, that's kind of the main thing. So I don't want to spend too much time on that one, because I have an interesting second segment, and I want to make sure we get around to you guys. So I think Marco has a game for us.
Ooh. I do. Yeah,
yes. All right, let's go. I love games.
Yes. You guys have already played this game, but I did pull it up.
Do you want to play a game?
Do you want to play a game? Your game rather, is guess the movie.
Okay.
It is.
Oh, is it the
IMDb?
We get like 5 words.
Nope. It's the IMDb top 100 movies. I'm going to give you a number, and you have 10 questions, yes or no questions, to figure out the movie. Are you ready for your number?
Let's do it.
44.
Okay, that's pretty.
This is the 44th.
44th out of 100
on IMDb.
Okay. And this is a movie we've seen or know of.
100% you've seen it.
I think the year 2000 demarcation is a really good starting point.
So before or after 2000?
Either way,
we have to say yes
can
or
ask
no.
either
It has
one.
to be
but-
yes or no.
Yes.
Is it after the year 2000?
No.
So it's before 2000. Okay.
Well, okay. Is it after the year 2000? Before means 2000 and earlier. So it could
Fair.
be up to 2000.
Fair.
But that's good. That's off 26 years worth of movies.
Do we want to say if it's like a sequel? Does it have a? Is it a part of a series?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is it a part of a series?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we want to ask if it's animated?
44. My question is like, how many animated movies are actually in the top?
Maybe a lot of
100?
early Disney movies.
Yes, but a lot of those aren't part of series. Some of them are, but a lot of them. Technically, Lion King had a sequel, but like
Lion King, Mulan, all of the good ones that we think.
Would you consider that to be part of a series?
100%.
I'm not answering any questions unless it's an actual question.
I think that he would 100% consider the Lion King to be part of a series. I would
direct to DVD.
I would consider it to be part of a series.
Okay, fine.
Do you want to ask if it's animated?
I'm sure.
Is it animated?
Yes.
You're welcome. All right, so it's animated. It's part of a series, and is it Lion King?
Well,
we can
ask if it's Disney.
That's a good point.
Because that really narrows it down.
Is it Disney?
Yes.
Okay. I wonder if it's Toy Story movie.
Well, so Lion King was 94.
Lion King's going to be higher than 40 on IMDb.
Really?
It's I think Lion King's like in the top 15. I don't know.
Really?
It's really, really high.
I
could be boisterous there.
It's
with
really
15.
good.
But I could be wrong.
My question is, do movie snobs think that highly of an animated movie?
Yes, it's high on. IMDb is solid in the sense
would say
that like
Lion King definitely is a contender. I don't know that Mulan is. Lilo and Stitch was post 2000, so I think that
Lilo and
one's out.
Stitch is not 40 all time. I think it either has to be a Toy Story movie, 1 or 2. Toy Story 1 or 2. It can be Lion King.
See, maybe Toy Story 2.
Honestly, it could be a lot of the early Disney movies. Well,
we can ask if it's Pixar.
40 of all time.
Yeah.
Maybe it is Lion King. Maybe
it is.
Maybe 40 of all. You want to guess with Lion King?
Let's use all 10 of our questions before we guess.
That's fair.
What we can say is the main character an animal? That'll narrow it down real fast, and that narrows it down.
Oh, Finding Nemo too.
Yeah.
Oh, we did Finding Nemo was the last one actually.
Oh yeah.
I think it's got to eat. I think it's one of the Toy Stories or it's Lion King.
Okay. Well, again, we can ask is the main character an animal?
Do we want to ask if it's Pixar or not?
Yeah. Is it Pixar?
No.
Okay.
So it's got it's one of the early animated ones. So I'm thinking it's either Beauty and the Beast or Lion King, Mulan, Tarzan. Those are the high rated ones.
My Beauty and the Beast doesn't have any sequels. I know. I realized they had direct to DVD. No, they didn't. They had like specials. That doesn't count.
That's fair. That probably doesn't. He probably didn't think that was a sequel.
Did he?
I honestly,
if it's Beauty and the Beast,
I just think
and
we should
if
shoot
he
from
thinks
the
it's
hip.
in a series, I'm going to punch him.
I think we should just shoot from the hip and say Lion King.
Why not use all our questions?
Because Lion King is a question. We at least narrow it down from Lion King.
No, we get a guess after our 10 questions, right?
Is that the way it works?
Say it again.
We had 10 questions, then we get to guess.
It is your 10th question is a guess.
So we get 9 questions and then a guess.
Yeah.
So we can answer this right now. What were we on? This is 4?
That was 5.
But our question, like asking if it's Lion King could just be us getting it early. I mean,
sure.
They're literally. I don't even think there are other options.
All right, fine. It was The Lion King.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, why not use all our questions to get there?
What if it was just like top 40? I was like Lion King. Yes. It's over.
That was quick, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Lion King 2 is not that bad for a direct-to-DVD sequel.
We hit all of the ones of it. It was a series before the 2000s
and animated,
and I'm like, and then it was Disney, and I'm like, okay, well, we got this thing locked up. That was great.
That was my segment.
Thank you.
Well, that's not true. I did actually fairly recently rewatch Lion King, and it's so good.
It
Lion
is
King
so incredible.
is so
the soundtrack alone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
Hans
soundtrack
Zimmer.
alone is
Yeah.
probably top 5 soundtracks of all time of any movie ever.
Yeah,
Period.
It's like
It is incredible.
It's shocking, like how much effort they just put into that movie. They're like, hey, randomly, we're just gonna go like all out for this lion movie.
It's just gonna be a banger.
It was amazing.
We're
gonna
gonna
be
get Hans Zimmer.
absolute
He's gonna do the
banger.
Jeez, what? Nobody was like, hey, that's a. Hey, don't get Hans Zimmer for the animated lion movie. Like, now we're gonna get him.
No, we're gonna get him.
And
It's still a phenomenal movie.
All right, so Nathaniel has.
All right, so
Let's bring it home.
let me lay the stage for you guys.
Oh boy.
So Uwe Boll is a German director who is famous for making incredibly bad movies. He's a bad director. He's not good. Now, I will say, in his credit, he does not toe any party lines. He doesn't follow like guidelines on like, hey, this is how you should make a movie. He does whatever the heck he wants. Now, it's usually an absolute dumpster fire, but at least he sticks to his guns. He's not apologetic about it. He's just like, hey, this is how I make movies. So he's most famous for making, it was like the second wave of video game movies. If the first wave was like the old Mario movie, which was not good, but like the old Mario movie and those movies, then the second wave was like Silent Hill, and I think they did a Postal movie, and almost all of them were done by Uwe Boll, and almost all of them are universally considered some of the worst movies ever made. So, not a shining star in the directorial world.
So he's bad.
He's a bad director. So he's just not like, his dialogue is always horrendously written. He always adds a bunch of weird stuff, and you're like, dude, who is this for? And it's just bonkers. Like, he makes bad movies. Okay, he's a bad director. Somehow still gets money. He made a movie recently that got banned in Germany.
Why did it get banned in Germany?
I will get there. So Germany would say it was
the same reason we're going to get banned on this podcast.
Germany would say it was because it's promoting vigilante violence. That's what Germany. That's the Germany line.
Hard to argue against.
It's hard to argue against that. It does
pretty much like, hey kids.
It does kind of actively say, hey guys, you should do what I'm doing.
It's so on the nose.
Now I will say, they got banned in Germany, and then it was made. The full movie was dropped on X for like 2 weeks, really? So you could watch the entire movie for free on X.
Oh.
It's only 1 hour and 26 minutes, which is as long as it needs to be, which was any length of time at all. So
it felt like all of those.
The plot of the movie is Armie Hammer. Yes, that Armie Hammer.
Yeah, we can come back.
Like
to
the
it.
cleaning,
that.
like
So
the cleaning guy,
like the
Arm and Hammer.
That's why he's named Armie Hammer. Yes, he's. Did you know
First
that?
I didn't know that.
That's why he's named
name
that.
Army, last name Hammer.
Yes, he's named that because he's heir to the Arm and Hammer fortune.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arm and Hammer is an actual brand, and Armie Hammer is in that family, which is why his name is Armie Hammer.
And my friend is marrying someone named Britton Hammer.
Ah.
So go ahead. Sorry.
So, have you made a Hammer Time joke yet?
Well, his last name is Vaughn, and so I was just like, hey, you should combine your last names and be Vaughn Hammer, because that's awesome.
That is pretty good. That's pretty good. But have you made a Hammer Time joke yet?
I don't think I've actually made that with
You
Britt
should.
before.
Yeah,
I'll probably hit her with one.
I wonder if he's still
Anyways.
watching. He was watching at the beginning of
The
this.
plot of the movie is, in broad strokes, Armie Hammer is an American who's in a European country. It is never disclosed throughout the whole movie what European country you're in.
European country.
We know that it's not Germany, it's not Italy, because of some news broadcast where they're like, we need a guy like that in Italy, we need a guy like that in Germany. The police signs randomly will say police and randomly will say policia. Everyone speaks with like a vaguely Eastern European accent, so it is completely unclear.
Sometimes there's no accent.
Sometimes there's no accent. Sometimes so it is unclear what country this takes place in, but it is in Europe. So it takes place in Europe. He is like a real estate owner. Like he owns
he's
apartments.
a landlord.
Yeah, he's a landlord.
He's a landlord.
Yeah, he's a landlord. And so that's why he's in this part of Europe. But on the side, he goes out and he enacts vigilante justice against people who he feel have evaded justice. Primarily
Illegal immigrants.
Muslim immigrants.
Oh.
Yes. So, and he doesn't just go after the Muslim immigrants, but he also goes after the judges who let them off and the people who basically enabled things like rape and stabbings and things like that. The movie, I guess you would say the culmination of the movie is he tracks down. So there's this like 14-year-old girl who was what I probably shouldn't say that word, huh? I probably need to use the algo speak. Who is group doinked?
I just remember
by a bunch of teenagers who get basically zero jail time because the judge is like, oh, they failed to integrate. And so he goes to their house, has them all called over, and it's like a family with a father, a mother, the son who was the doinker, and then his sister, and he just kills every single one of them. Like he just like in a line shoots the son, shoots the dad, shoots the mom, shoots the sister, and you're like, what? And then he like calls over all the friends and shoots all of them as they come into the house too. He does this just like insane. And then he kidnaps this judge who let them all off, and they're driving down the road. He's giving this whole spiel about people will always follow the law even when it's not good. And he goes into the other lane, and there's an oncoming car. The car is oncoming, and the oncoming car swerves out of the way, flips over, and then for some reason the car just explodes. And he's like, yeah, that person's probably dead, but they got what they deserve because they followed the laws and blah 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 blah. And what's so interesting about it is it's like a very shitty exploitation film that's like the very much in the Punisher vein, although Punisher's like leagues better than this. It's very much in the Punisher vein of, hey, bad guys aren't getting the justice they deserve. I'm going to take the law into my own hands and do that, right? Except he's kind of a terrible person. We see him like go and solicit a prostitute, and
you see it at like it's gratuitous.
It's so gratuitous.
Like, we had to fast forward.
Yeah, he goes and solicits a prostitute, and then he's like telling the landlords like, yeah, kick all these people out who aren't paying their rents and da 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 da, and he just seems like a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Even though he's supposed to be quote unquote the guy getting the justice.
Remember the kids from the park?
Oh yeah,
he hits the girl and just disappears.
Yeah. So there's like it's like really early in the movie, and he gets on this bus, and there's like these three punk kids. There's like a white guy, a black guy, and a white girl. And they like get on the bus and they're like, F you, I'm not going to pay my tickets. And so he pays the tickets for them. And then he sits down next to the white boy, and he
pulls a gun on
him and is like, this is the luckiest day of your life because I got somewhere to be. Then later, he's just like walking in the park, and he sees this same trio just beating up some random nerd.
For no reason.
Like, for no reason.
They're just like, look at this nerd.
Oh, you want your phone? He's like, I just want to call my mom. Like, beat him up. And so he walks up and tases the white kid, tases the black kid, and the girl just vanishes. She's just not there all of a sudden.
All of a sudden.
Literally, there's no shot of her running away. She's just not there.
Like when he knocks the three of them over, she's
just gone. She just disappears.
She's on the moon. She's now an astronaut.
Artemis 2 saw her like, oh my gosh, that's the guy that Armie Hammer. That's the chick that Armie Hammer punched. Like, it's so wild. But anyways, and of course he like builds this kill box in this random house so that the police come in, and he just mows policemen down.
Yeah,
like dozens of policemen. He just mows them down. And he's like, oh, but you stopped me from doing my job, which I was supposed to do. Well, and he keeps sending these messages of like, oh, you're all sheep and you just got to not follow the government. And here's the problem. Almost all of the crimes.
There's only one.
Well, the biggest problem with it is it's like he's a very unlikable character. And if you're going to do a vigilante, you have to be on the side of the vigilante, and you're really not. But here's the thing, and here's what makes it, and this is the real reason why I got banned, is all of the examples of reasons that he's going out and killing people. Those are all real things that happened in Europe.
It's just my ears.
Those are all real things that happened in Europe. Like there were actually girls who got gang doinked, and then the kids got off scot-free. Like all of this stuff is actually happening in Europe because Europe is committing suicide by proxy for whatever reason. The governments are just like, yeah, we don't care about our own citizens. We're going to bring in a bunch of people who don't follow our laws. And he goes into this whole thing about like he actually like takes a pretty good hammer to Islam, and it's like this is why I was like sitting there, I'm like, nothing he's saying is wrong. Now what he's doing is absolutely wrong,
yeah, of course,
but none of his arguments are invalid. And that's the tricky part is people will see that and be like, yeah, he's just clearly some rampaging murderous guy who just wants to kill immigrants. And it's hard to argue with that, even though every single one of his arguments was like factually correct.
Well, it definitely is like 100% all the like the eye rolling that we give Hollywood for just being like super overly political, like in the obvious direction of being super woke. It's all of those little things, but like all of a sudden it was on the other foot, and it was, for me at least, like my particular take on all that stuff is like I just don't want policies of any kind mostly in my movies, like period. Like I didn't watch this movie and was like, oh, finally, I would rather learn about those things in real life and like have a real opinion on them and just be like, can exist outside where we actually like talk about this? It like for it to be done so heavy-handedly in a movie, I never really like it. Now this was interesting.
It was funny because it was the right version. It was the right, politically right version, the leaning right version of One Battle After Another.
Yeah.
And it was just as trashy.
It was it was definitely like on the nose to the point where like, and something that Yeah, well, I guess you mentioned it at the end, but is that like all these times before he kills the family, sits with the kid and points the gun at him, he basically is just like spewing like all the right-wing talking points of being like, this is happening because all the immigrants are coming in and blah, blah, blah. This is happening because like you're taking your beliefs from over there. And so you're either on the side of these things or you're not. You're either like, hey, I think this is a good point and I think these are helpful things to think.
Well,
like you mentioned.
Here's the thing. It's not even like necessarily a sides thing. Like a lot of the stuff he was saying was just actual facts of what happened.
That's fair.
And it's
that's
like
fair.
and his conclusions were like, okay, so therefore I need to kill all immigrants. It's kind of like the Killmonger thing where he was like, yeah, Africa's gotten a bad end of the stick in a lot of ways. Therefore, kill all white people. And you're like, now hold on a second. The conclusion does not follow. That's a non sequitur.
Right.
And it is.
But I don't like either of those. Like, it's kind of my point is like I wouldn't watch either of those movies.
And what I want to talk about is justice, because there is we've talked about this before, that there is an innate craving for justice.
Yeah, that's why we like superhero movies.
Injustice, we want injustice to be corrected, and this is one of the reasons why vigilantism in media is so popular, because the judicial system all over the world fail so frequently. They're so prone to corruption. They're so prone to abuse, and we see a lot of times that it seems like people get away with it.
Yeah.
And it seems unfair because it is. And what, us as Christians, we have to look and say, well, yes, but we got to look at things in a longer term perspective of that will be judged.
But
we're not supposed to take that sort of thing onto our hands. Now, the problem is, again, it's all at a tightrope. Like, there's the one side of, full vigilantism, shooting migrants, right?
Shooting anybody.
And there's the other side of just excusing everything and letting people run roughshod over you. Like,
right.
you don't have to do that either. There is a, like, and this is something that, we talk about, being too political. It's like, okay, well, if you take anything away from this movie, it's to say that you should care about what's happening in your nation. And if you have political capital, which all American citizens do to an extent, you should use that to try to move the balances into the moral, in a moral way.
Sure.
That's okay. So that you wouldn't have to have a vigilante shooting a bunch of migrants.
Right. Well, and that would be my, like, even for somebody who is more politically aligned, like conservatively, I would have wanted a better representation of a movie to try to push those points.
Again, we're talking about Uwe Boll, but so I think of, obviously, it's so easy to point and say this is very stupid.
Yeah.
But also, if you see it, you should say, okay, ignore his actions because those are ridiculous.
Yeah, hard to do in watching a movie, but fair.
But I think it's fair to consider his talking points. I think again, the facts he was saying were not wrong, but a lot of his conclusions were like, it's all about religion. Like, okay, no, it's about a specific religion, and he did call that out specifically.
Yeah.
But he did kind of also sound like, well, all religions like this. Like, well, but no, it's not.
Yeah.
And it's really, and it's like demonstrably not, like historically, factually, demonstrably not equivalent. So
yeah. I mean, it
definitely is. Raises some interesting talking points, but I don't think I would recommend it, and I don't think I would ever watch it again.
Yeah, it's definitely not like savory. Like, again, like we said, there's gratuitous moments in it, and it's just like, is objectively from a movie standpoint terrible.
Yeah, and arguably the most gratuitous moment of violence is when he's killing all the innocent cops. They're like heads exploding, and it just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever, and you're like, but these cops, as far as we know, now if you had shown us like, hey, these are all the cops who are taking bribes, like these are all dirty cops.
Sure.
But they didn't do that.
They were just like doing their job.
And in fact, he has a call with the inspector, and the inspector was like, dude, I was doing my job and you blew me up. And he's like, yeah, but you didn't die. And he's like, but yeah, but all my guys died. It's so bonkers.
It's a baffling movie.
It's
and the only
really
thing it
hard to
provides
recommend.
is kind of a bit of like, oh, I've never seen this from this side.
I think that's my thing when it comes to this. So obviously I've never seen this because I haven't watched anything for a while.
It's bad.
But like, if I had seen something that was so on the nose, right leaning, I would almost be like,
it's obnoxious.
Is that legal anymore?
That's what I felt.
Like,
the whole movie.
That's why it got banned in Germany.
Is it to a point where you're like, is that even allowed? Like, we've gone through so long, decades, literal decades of far left Hollywood world that it is so ingrained into our movies now to have some random movie be a right leaning one. You're like,
oh,
Well,
God.
yeah, it is.
And it's funny because it is such a far swing to the other side.
It's
like
not just
completely just, almost ridiculous to the extent.
Like,
and so it's like maybe we can find something that's like conservative but not absurd like that.
Well, it's like if you were to think of like a big cultural moment, like one of these big shootings or like the George Floyd things or something like that. This would be the equivalent of making a movie that isn't directly like using those names, but it's like a moment like that where they're like,
Boyd.
You see, there was a specific thing that happened, and there's been so many movies about that, like so many movies about like somebody who was killed that was unjust and all these different things, and I honestly feel the same way about those things as I do about this, where I'm like, those might all be true facts, but I'd rather learn about the actual story from reading it.
The thing is, and again, I actually know a decent amount about what he was talking about because I've been following these stories.
Well, imagine that
I
they're
really
accurate,
don't really
like
want to get into it. But the funny thing is, the stuff on the left is usually not actually accurate. This was actually accurate. And I'm still like, yeah, but you still shouldn't go around just icing people.
Yes.
That's still
correct.
not okay. And again, to your point, he literally is like, and this is what everyone should be doing.
Yeah.
Like,
literally
what?
at the end, he's like, go and do it. Take your country back. Start killing people. And you're like,
I will say that it's not shot completely chronologically.
And
it keeps cutting back to him with his giant table of guns, and he's like loading them all, and he never used a single one, not once. He has this like kill box with 2 AKs in it, and then he has and he fires way longer than that clip at any rate, dude. And then he has one silenced pistol that he uses.
I was gonna say, if he's not using guns, that checks out for anything in Europe. They're like
he had so many guns.
But he did have the guns. He just never
he's never used them.
And like,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But if he's never using them, then I mean that kind of checks out.
He does use guns, but he uses like
he breaks the laws, so he wouldn't be abiding by the laws.
No. And again, the scene with the prostitute,
so
it had nothing to do with anything.
Why was it there?
And the scene where he's like talking about the rent had nothing to do with anything. It's baffling.
You mean to tell me that gun violence people don't follow the law?
Probably.
They're like,
again, we don't know what country in Europe it was, so we can't say how stringent their gun control
There is also this like,
we know it wasn't in Germany and it wasn't in Italy.
There's this baffling murder of the judge, which is just like, so he
gives him heroin.
Gives him some kind of shot of something.
Heroin.
Okay, so he's like all loopy and he's driving him off and he's like, you see, you were feeling pretty guilty about yourself and that's why you drove yourself here and slit your own wrists and blah, blah, blah.
Except he's in the passenger seat.
He's in the passenger seat. And then he has this giant bottle of like vodka and he pours like a splash on the guy's chest. And then just puts the bottle down and then slices the guy's wrist in the passenger seat. He's like, that's why you drove me into this.
And closes the driver door with his bare hands. Oh
my God.
And I'm just like, dog, like he didn't even have any alcohol in his system. Why would there just be a splash on his face? Also, why are you even trying to hide it? Like, you're the vigilante. You post this stuff everywhere. You should have been like, yeah, I did it. Why is this one randomly like, and we'll just make this look like you killed yourself? Like, dog, the movie.
Who's going to buy that?
The actual movie is just absolutely horrendous, but it was interesting because it was like, oh, like you said, Mark, it's like the whole time you're sitting there going, are we allowed to say this? And then also, why do I feel like it's so shocking that we can't say these things? Like we say all kinds of things in movies. Like this is it's a terrible movie, but you should be able to make it a terrible movie.
Yeah, it's a terrible movie, but the fact that it is so controversial is very telling.
Yes. All right. So, man, Citizen Vigilante. What
such a weird
wild movie.
But again,
it's short.
Very short. Would never watch it again. And very interesting to talk about. So at least as that.
So what I'm gonna
bowl, you bastard, you've done it again. You made a shitty movie that made us talk about it.
Margaret, did you just have the game today?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have one last segment here. And this is a little bit, it kind of started off as an analyst of 2 of the movies that I've watched, but it kind of just dissolved into like how I go about rating movies and like what I look for in movies. And it was initially brought on because I watched 2 very different movies. I watched The Island, which I kind of mentioned this where it had, if you were to explain the plot of The Island and say, I'm going to now tell you this story, I would be really excited.
Yeah.
Because the plot
summary is way more interesting than the actual movie.
And if you told me the plot summary of Rushmore and then went to go explain it, I'd be like, it's a kid and he has a friend and he likes a girl. I'd be like, but it's how you tell that story that typically is where you start to throw critique in there. It's typically where you start to piece things apart. Now, the actual creativity of the story does matter, right? I think that if you have, and this is probably a little more personal because I think what story you're going to be attracted to and interested in, that's probably the most subjective part of it. Because if you tell a really, really good buddy cop story, that's going to be entirely different than a really, really good sci-fi. But both of those movies could be phenomenal, and you could love one and hate one just because of who you are. Just be like, I just generally like buddy cop movies and adult sci-fis. So it tends to be, in my opinion, one of the most subjective categories. But if you were to initially start off with that breakup of being, you could call it the plot, but you could also just call it like, hey, if I was going to tell a story, I could explain to you the story I'm going to tell. That's one aspect. Hey, this is going to be a story about a dinosaur that blah, 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 blah. But then there's actually going through and execute and telling the story. And so like, those are instantly two categories you can make of like the story that you're going to tell and then how you tell the story. And I think most of the separations come from how you tell the story. Like that's how we critique movies, because that first category typically is put into the very subjective. It can be a sci-fi, maybe people just like that. Although I think
it could also be Citizen Vigilante or Hannibal Rising.
Well, that first category for me, I personally put a lot of weight into because I enjoy seeing things that haven't been seen before. Like Rushmore, great movie, but that was almost entirely because it was told well. The actual plot itself is super simple. Like there's nothing groundbreaking about that. Whereas a movie like The Sixth Sense, where it's a kid who's seeing a psychologist, but the kid sees dead people and it turns out to be a real thing. Like all of that stuff is just it's created out of thin air, in my opinion. Like when I hear it, I'm just already excited because I'm like, I've never heard anything like that. Like I give a whole bunch of credit to the creativity of something like that. And this is one of the funny occasions where typically I give too much credit. You guys kind of critique me for it. And this is one of those situations where I watched The Island and watched Rushmore, and it was the opposite, where I'm like, oh, this one's super creative idea. But I'm like, the actual execution was so poor. And then Rushmore, I'm like, whatever. It's just, just like a kid that likes a girl. But its execution was so good that I was like, I do have to give it its credit. So when you actually talk about the telling of the story, it breaks up into several different categories. And these aren't all the categories. This is typically where my mind goes because this is what populates the story. So you have the actors and you have the dialogue that they're speaking. So the
actors or the characters?
No, I would say the actors, like the acting. So the acting, like how the characters were executed. You have the characters as well. So it's the characters, how they were acted, the dialogue they speak, and then you have what's populating like the rest of like the things that exist without the characters, which is the visuals and the music, the sound and the visuals. Now you can get in like the technical side of like how was like the sound editing and things like that. Things that typically don't come into play except for when it's bad. Usually it's just, oh wow, I couldn't hear anything. Like it's probably because it was terrible sound editing. Yeah, and movies that had really good sound editing, you probably couldn't tell at all because they did their job. But visuals and music, I think music is definitely one of those that falls into that more subjective range. It's hard, and this is mainly just because I'm not like, I don't have any kind of music background. I'm sure people that do have musical backgrounds, maybe Jay, like would have a lot more to say about specific things. And I think typically when you critique anything, I think one of the biggest measures is the difficulty of that thing, right? If you I'm sure you could like all different manner of music, but when you hear somebody do something that's truly phenomenal, like somebody that sings a certain way that you're like, oh my gosh, that already, like people that don't even enjoy that kind of music can say that was phenomenal. And that's usually the same thing with movie making. It's like you did something that's extremely difficult. There is credit due there. Whether I liked it or not, I can appreciate what was being done there. I think of the movie like Revenant. Revenant was one of the first movies that really started to take a big step on we're going to try to shoot super, super long cutscenes here. We're not going to have we're going to do an entire action sequence that goes on for like 5.5 minutes. And this is super difficult because you can't hide things. Like if something's wrong, if an extra drops his bow and he looks like an idiot and he's fighting, the Native American and then the guy tackles him, but his costume comes off, they've got to redo everything. And they have to redo like explosions and gunfire and and arrows flying all over the place and also people acting and having dialogue within all that. So that's why it's so difficult. So typically you're like, okay, cut. This is easier. So even as somebody who you might not have appreciated The Revenant, you can say, man, that was such a well done movie because it took a ton of effort to do that. Like you can appreciate that element, if anything. And so music has that. I can't necessarily speak to that as much just because I'm not I don't have a background in music. I can just tell you what I think is really, really good. I'm just like, I think that the score for this movie was great. I don't think the score for this movie was that good. But that's kind of the extent of my critique on the music side of things. It's more so, did I like it? Did I not like it? Now the visuals is more of the nerdy side, and this is more of where I can appreciate like shot composition and things like that. There's the superhero-esque visuals of like CGI and big animatronics and things like that I think everybody can kind of appreciate. And there's the more nerdy like shot composition of like just a normal like we see a lot of this in Wes Anderson movies where it's just a static shot of like a guy at a barbershop getting cut, but it looks like everything is exactly where it needs to be. And even just like the cross sections of like the lines of like where the sidewalk is meeting it all looks like an art book. Like it's super, even as some like, and those are so exaggerated Wes Anderson to where you don't have to be a nerd to go, this just looks cool. Like you can just appreciate it. But more of the nerdy side of my film brain sees that in a lot of just normal shots. I'm like, wow, like this, like First Man was an example where I was like, they just put a ton of effort into even just the normal shots of this movie. Like even the shot composition of just them talking around the base was intentional. And I'm like, I can appreciate that a ton. So I think the visuals, like they carry some of it, but that can also be shoehorned by what kind of movie you're making. Like some movies just don't demand a whole lot of that. And so it's not always going to be a big thing. And music is the same way. Some movies just don't need a whole bunch of, like, there needs to not be much of a soundtrack. There are plenty of movies that don't have much of a soundtrack at all that I love. And some movies that I think are carried by their soundtrack that I really like. And circling back to the other things that are populating these stories, so dialogue is another thing that we look at. So what makes good dialogue, I think, is dialogue that actually is profound. And this suffers a ton in, I think, a lot of movies. Like a lot of movies, I think, Citizen Vigilante, like I don't think it cared at all what it was just like, it was just like, hey, just read this, blah, blah, blah. Whereas I think movies that are at the peak of dialogue are things like Lord of the Rings, where they're typically movies, I mean, not always, but like a lot of the times you can track it back to a movie adaptation, like something that was adapted from a book. That movies have really good dialogue is because you're like, oh, your source material you're drawing from is like J.R. Tolkien. Like you're taking clips from that. And you're saying, hey, who's the actor who played Gandalf?
Ian McKellen.
Hey, Ian McKellen, just read this piece of Tolkien, like while dressed like how is that not going to be amazing and profound? So there's a lot of movies like that that have great source material to pull from. All of Lord of the Rings is super profound dialogue. But there's also just a lot of really great. I mean, this is another example of an adapted novel as well. Is the Silence of the Lambs. Great dialogue, but that also takes good execution on the acting side. This is where it's tough. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you're like, I can't tell this person was acting bad or if they were given a bad script. Like if the dialogue was just written, but like I couldn't tell you if Armie Hammer did good or bad in that movie. Like a movie was just so trash that you're just like, maybe he did terrible, but also maybe he was just acting the best he could with the script he got. But those all kind of bleed together. The characters that are put into the story, the dialogue that they are saying, and the actors that are acting them are kind of sometimes hard to tell, but those all play roles in when you overall back up and look at a who movie. You're like, does it meet all these things? Was it acted well? Were the characters interesting? Were they accurate to who they are, right? Was an introduced character accurate to who they are? Or are you manipulating this character to make the plot move along? Like, hey, we need this really smart character to all of a sudden like become an idiot and just fall down on their face so that the plot can actually keep happening. And you go, okay, that's bad character writing. So-and-so would never do that. You introduce this person to me to be very intelligent. You need to explain to me why he fell down on his face like an idiot. And so those are marks of bad character writing when you're like, hey, we just need people to start acting so that the plot can move on. But those are like the different ways that that my mind starts to bleed out into, I want to actually analyze if this movie is good or bad. And so I just started getting to that when I was writing this, and I just thought I'd go in that direction instead.
Yeah, so like the island is, I think, is a great example because, okay, what's the broad plot of the island? Okay, so they're cloning human beings to serve as organ replacements.
Yeah.
And they tell the people who are getting the organs replaced that, oh, these clones are always in stasis. They're
vegetables.
But the reality is, if they don't bring them to life, they die.
Yeah.
So they have this whole island where they have a bunch of clones, and then eventually they say, oh, you're going to Tahiti or whatever, getting off the island.
Well, it's not.
And that's when they
they're
harvest
in like
them.
a facility, and when they win the lottery, basically when they're sponsors.
Yeah.
So if you're a really, really rich person, you would basically pay this place millions of dollars to have a clone of yourself that anytime you get sick of anything, your eyes, are fading, your heart's whatever, you can just take theirs. And for them, they're like, oh yeah, these are just vegetables sitting there and it costs a lot of money. But the reality is that they're in this big facility, and anytime the sponsor needs them, they're like, hey, you won the lottery, you're going to the island. And they just take this person and they kill them and take their organs.
Yep.
And so that plot is
It's
already
a really
so fascinating.
plot. And man, is it a bad movie.
The acting is like, when I tell you that Scarlett Johansson gives one of the strangest performances you've ever seen, you want to see something weird, go back and watch that movie, and you'll be like, all right, this is corny, it's a little weird. And then she'll say lines, and you're like, oh,
what?
she's like straight, like it's so weird. It's so, every scene she's in, I was so distracted because she was just like, I have no idea how I can even say, like, she's just terrible, like utterly terrible. And I like her as an actor, to be honest. I think that she's fine, and I really like Buddy who played Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor. Sean Bean is in that movie.
Yep.
There's a lot of great actors. They're all, but it's so unbelievably corny. And it's Michael Bay. I didn't realize Michael Bay made it.
That explains so much.
He clearly was like, hey, here's this interesting plot. Let's make it about like CGI chase scenes in like these weird futuristic motorcycle things. And it's like, it's so embarrassing.
So bad.
It's just an, and in talking about characters and all their motivations, like, it makes no sense. Like the dude, like 2 of the clones get loose. So the main guy, like that runs the facility, hires this off the record hitman dude that's done like time in Somalia, like to be like, hey, hunt them down. And he's like, yeah. And then that dude is like, hey, you clones are pretty cool. I think I'm just gonna kill this guy instead. Randomly at the end for no reason.
It's like he literally like looks at the scripts like, oh yeah, you're the good guys. Hang on, I'll be back.
He literally was mowing down police officers, and he's like, I'm gonna find these people. And then he's like, why does he think he can control you? And he's like, kills the bad guy, and you're like, what? See, that's a moment where you're like, why was he even a character? He made no sense.
When villains do heel turns like that, like reverse heel turns, I guess.
So stupid.
I'm like, you have to earn those moments.
Yeah.
Villain redemption arcs are so cheap if they're like, oh, and they're just a good guy now. Like, no, redemption has to be redemption doesn't have to be earned. But for a villain in a plot, you have to at least show that they're moving in that direction.
Yeah. Just so the audience can get behind something.
This happened in National Treasure 2, where the bad guy, who's been willing to kill people, chasing them the whole time, they go to Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore starts flooding, which makes no sense because it's at the top of a mountain. It's like a high point. I don't know where this water is coming from. It's not near. Movie, as far as I remember, and I've been to Mount Rushmore, I don't remember there being a river nearby or a lake or anything.
There is a lake behind the mountain, but it is not close.
Yeah, like there's one in the park, but not next to the mountain, not to a point where you would be flooding up into the heads of Mount Rushmore.
Clearly.
And clearly it would just spill out of Teddy Roosevelt's mouth, right? Like, anyways, and the bad guy's just like, yeah, you know what? I'm actually good. You guys escape. I'll just die. Like, what?
He's like, I'll hold this here while you guys go. And
How? Who? What?
Nick Cage is like, all right, I'll tell your story after I get out of here.
Literally, he's like, oh, shoot, you're the main character. Please.
Oh, you're Nicolas Cage. But anyways, yes, and then the inverse of that being Rushmore as being a very simple story, but all of the characters are written so well. The acting is phenomenal. It's super like charming visually. It's always so like that's the one thing Wes Anderson does consistently in all of his movies is like all of his visuals, his shot composition is so interesting. And I know runtime isn't one of the things I mentioned, but
it's pretty short.
You just have to like. And I always say this: if a movie's longer, it has to be that much better.
Yeah,
and that's why Lord of the Rings can do it. They're like, hey, we want to be 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Excuse me, you want to be 4 hours?
You better you better be Lord of the Rings. We are. All right, you're good. Come on through. Hey, we want to be 3 hours. Who are you? Literally anybody else? No,
Joker
you can't do that.
Get out.
But you have to be so freaking good, and that's why like you make an hour and a half long movie, it's probably going to be great because the threshold comes down, and so you make a really really good hour and a half long movie. I'm like. That's something I can watch all the time. It's awesome.
It's also like an hour and a half it's a decent chunk of time. For a lot of stories, it doesn't take an hour and a half to tell all the important bits.
Yeah.
And, I think there are movies where it's like you need some downtime. It's okay to use downtime. But there's so many movies where there are just scenes and scenes and scenes. You're like, that added nothing but runtime. We did not need it. It didn't add anything. The characters didn't grow. They didn't learn. They didn't move towards their goals. They didn't experience adversity. It's just something that happened in the movie.
And now I have become Runtime, the destroyer of
livelihoods.
It was
bladders.
Bladders, yeah, destroyer of bladders.
Whoops.
No,
Sorry,
I guess
guys.
we're done.
He's playing us off. That's
I can't even-
fair. It's fair.
I can't even switch it over. That's hilarious.
You can?
Oh no, it's all wonky. Just keep
fair.
going. I'll shut it off here in just a second.
Anyways, with that being said, this is the end of our show. Appreciate you guys joining us along.
We still got Marco's game.
No. That was it. I already did it. IMDb top 100.
But we still got Marco's game. The sequel. We need the sequel.
Do you want another one?
No.
I can just really quickly do it.
Actually, let's see if we can guess number one.
Number one on IMDb?
Yeah, number one on IMDb.
I can already tell you.
You already know what it is? Wait.
I already know. It's The Godfather.
Is it The Godfather?
Oh, no. Is it Schindler's List?
Hold on. Give me
Let's guess.
2 seconds.
No, you get 1 second.
No.
IMDb top 100. We are looking at neither of those. Godfather is number 2, though.
Oh, it's sorry. It's Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh, well, yeah.
Schindler's List is number 4.
I wouldn't say Shawshank Redemption is my favorite movie of all time, but I'm perfectly fine with it being number 1 on the top 100 list. It's such a good movie.
It's just that the Lord of the Rings are all kind of sporadic. I think they're all in the top 11.
Yeah.
If I could be wrong, all the 3
But
Lord of the
let's
Rings.
be honest, just like Lord of the Rings is one book, it's one movie.
It's one movie. They all deserve to be a number 1 spot. We will be back in a couple weeks. We should be back to our normal schedule of doing it every couple weeks.
At least until I get my teaching schedule for the fall.
Yep, and then we'll decide what day that falls on, whether it's a Monday or Tuesday. But just be on the lookout. We are in the new studio. We're excited about that. Awesome. We're excited that you guys joined us.
We'll get the screen hooked up so we can do more legible games.
Yes, we will actually be able to get you guys to join in there. But in the meantime, let us know what you think. Like and subscribe. Send us your thoughts. Send us movies that we should watch. And... enjoy the next dimension in entertainment.
Yeah. A bunch of nobody's talking about nothing.
A bunch of nobody's talking about that. We need to do that next show. We need to look at comments.
Just put that.
Yeah, we can put
a bunch of nobody's talking about nothing.